Mm-hmm.
Take us live. I'm going to attempt to monitor you via Skype, which is working now because it's fixed. So hopefully, I'm going to now be able to hear Gemma. Can everyone hear Gemma? So we've rebuilt the stream.
I think people can hear me, right?
I think people can hear you, but you got to wait for chat.
Can you hear me, Munchie? Are you on? We now know how many people leave.
Yeah, because they immediately like, oh, what is this? Some kind of food stream? I don't like this.
Yay! Hi, Aqua.
Hi, folks. Hi, Aqualta. All good. Awesome. And now you can see, oh, my face is getting demolished by this. But we do now have the chat. I might need to move this to somewhere a bit. Maybe I'll put it in the bottom. You know what? That's what I'll do. I'm really dumb. I'll just put this in the bottom.
Yeah, what I really don't like is that we are two totally different sizes.
Yeah, well, these are always I moved chat down to the bottom right. But now you can see chat, and the cool part about seeing chat is I'm gonna be peeking over the chat. But if people watch replays or VODs, it'll pop up as people chat.
Okay.
So as if you're watching this in VOD or replay, now you can see what we're talking to, who we're talking to, and why, which is a super help. And now if you want to be famous, you can type things into the chat and appear. Let me now take a minute. So Gemma can play What Am I Eating?
Can you do this for me? Yeah, what am I eating?
I could.
It's been a week, Dave. Do I get stuff in my face?
It has been a really exciting week. But I'm just going to paste our update that we're live.
Okay, so, Dave's going to update. I'm eating popcorn, but my favorite popcorn is sweet and salty.
Why is it sweet and... What's up with that?
It's delicious, no?
Is it?
Is that all we have in America? I was told this was an American flavor.
Oh, yeah.
I've been lied to.
Sweet and salty is definitely something we do. We love this in America.
Because
it's kettle corn, right? Like kettle corn.
They make like this big thing in the cinema of like getting the salty one and the sweet one and putting 2 scoops in and shaking it.
Ooh.
I know. But
they must love that. Where's the...
But you know what? I tasted a lot of different supermarket sweet and salty popcorn to find the right one. I think the Butterkist one is the better one. However, I will say the Tesco's own represents the best value because it's cheap and also delicious. Morrison's own, don't touch it. Terrible.
Morrison's own. All right, so I've done some level of advertising that seems reasonable. Okay. There's one more place that I usually pop our stuff. Show and tell. Cool.
I have a feeling people are gonna maybe want to ask us questions, or maybe this is going to. It's the Chris chat. When people start asking the hot questions, then I'll stop. But no one's asking anything interesting. It's been a week, Dave.
It has been.
Someone's got to have a question.
We're gonna take viewer questions, or we're gonna preemptively.
I don't know.
Engage with the big deal.
It was a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I presume a good portion, because we hardly ever start with 11. I presume a good portion are here to watch. Not just talk about Morrison's versus Tesco's popcorn.
I don't know anything about either of those places. We don't have those places in America.
So, whilst we're waiting for people to drip in, there are several levels of supermarkets in this country, right?
Uh-huh.
There's your Waitroses and your Marks and Spencers. Can't afford those. Very high level, right?
Really? Waitroses is high level?
I'd say Waitroses is high level. I mean, you can buy like pre-peeled garlic and egg and stuff like... Interestingly enough, Whole Foods is up there because that's an expensive import for us.
Whole Foods is considered reasonably fancy here too. Like if you do all your shopping at Whole Foods, it's because you just don't care how much anything costs.
Okay, yeah, okay. So and then I'd say Sainsbury's is next, and then it's Tesco's, Morrison's, and then below that is your German imports, your Aldi's, your Lidl's, your Netto's.
Yeah, but like Lidl, I remember people going nuts over Lidl. Like, oh, Lidl's so great, it's so cheap, it's amazing. See, do you have Trader Joe's there?
No.
See, Trader Joe's is like a side market. It's not really a supermarket. It's not trying to be, but it's got a lot of like prepared stuff. But it's not crazy. I don't think it's crazy expensive. It's generally considered very good. So yeah, we're chatting about this while we give folks a little bit to climb aboard the SS stream.
Yeah. Someone's got to have a hot question.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be. It's got to come up. I don't know. I don't know if being coy about it is like.
Right, Dave. What happened?
It's worth it.
Tell me. Tell me what happened.
So let's get into it.
You know what? I turned 40 this week.
Oh, that's important.
And on the week I turned 40, I learned more about American politics than I've ever had to ever learn in
Welcome
my
to
entire life.
being old. Feels
And
pretty
it
good.
is, yeah. And I was like,
You did it.
huh.
You did it. You made it.
You know,
You've
and this is
caught
something
up
that
to me.
I didn't really appreciate until I met Dave. But to British people, all Americans look the same. Like
Just
you all
spherical.
act
Just
the
straight
same.
up
You all look
spherical.
the same. You got this huge continent, I know, but you're like to us. And I only realized this because I was watching British TV, and someone was in the UK was mocking Americans.
Mm.
It just looked like
And
an
why would they
American
do
mob.
that?
And then Dave was like, "Ooh, that's a bit racist." And I'm like, "What, really?" Because I guess the
Oh.
way it was being presented was potentially, a little bit racist in the view of an American, because they would be taking a different perception, right? Whereas we're just like, that's what you all sound like no different. If you ask me to tell a difference between a California, I could tell a difference between California and New Yorker probably. Because Californians wear shorts and New Yorkers are angry.
New
But apart
Yorkers
from
wear
that,
shorts. Californians get
Californians
angry.
wear shorts, yeah.
People wear shorts. It's fine. It happens.
And Californians wear shorts all the time.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time with Garth. Didn't matter if it was like the depths of winter.
But
He
that's
was
like
there in shorts and flip
Garth.
flop.
Like he's just his own. He's like an entity. He just does his own thing. He marches to the beat of his own drum.
So, and I learned more about Americans this week. Dave, you can take off now.
Well, there's a lot. There's been a lot going on. So let's just be real about it. So last week we talked a lot about the North American Open, and we announced it. We announced it in Orlando. We've been working with the groups in Orlando. Things like that. See, Dr. Milan is blissfully ignorant of everything that's gone on.
Right.
So we did
I'm
announce
stopping
it.
through the crisps now. I'm stopping.
Okay.
I'm stopping.
Are they crisps?
I'm on the
I
beer
thought
now.
it was popcorn.
No, they're popcorn. Sorry, someone said
Wait,
crisps.
hold on. Why do you get? Can I bring a dinner in?
It's a really big beer as well.
You get like a full buffet, and I get nothing.
It's a big beer for a big topic.
Yeah, big beer for. Okay, so yeah, we announced it. Before announcing it, we talked to some people about it. We spoke with folks in the Orlando group about how people might feel about it, and at the end of the day, there was a much stronger feeling from many more quadrants of the community that they were very unhappy that the event was being held in Florida. And look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna be real. Yeah, it's disappointing to get a bad reaction when you announce your event. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't make you feel good. It's disappointing that everyone was not like, "Oh, this is awesome. Let's go straight ahead with it." And again, I'm gonna be a human being. I'm gonna acknowledge those feelings. I'm not gonna pretend they don't exist. But at the same time, a lot of the objections raised were very real and about very real concerns people had about their bodily autonomy and their safety. If for those of you not in America, Florida has really been at the spearhead of passing they've been at the spearhead of it. Many people have followed suit, but they've been really publicizing it. And DeSantis, as governor, had been really making it like a specific key thing that he wants to trumpet, which is, I'm going to pass all these laws that discriminate against homosexuals, against trans people, against everyone in the LGBTQ community in all kinds of ways that are really just, at best, playing to a hateful base, and at worst, outright cruel. And this has been going on. It's been, and a lot of other red states around the country have been following suit and doing the same thing and using these laws as models. All of this is terrible, and the overall feeling about it was very, very negative on the potential of going to Florida in any way, shape, or form. And again, I'm going to be really clear when I say I think these are very valid concerns people had. And that's part of what made this situation hard and frustrating. Like, if I thought that people were, getting upset about nothing, I could kind of be like, well, you're all upset about nothing. But I don't think that. Again, I think these were very, very serious and valid concerns people had about their safety and about their person. And seeing the width and the depth of feeling there, we conferred with the organizer, and we decided that they really didn't feel good about going forward with this event if so many people were going to be upset and hurt and excluded. And so what we've done is we've basically unannounced the event, and said that we're going to look for a new location for it. If you go to the event website, you can get a link to the NARMA Discord, which is where we're going to have conversations about what it takes to host that event, and what an RFP looks like. We're going to see fingers crossed if everything
a request for
a
proposal.
request
If
for
people
proposal.
don't
That's
know
true.
what the acronym RFP
Yeah.
means.
Fingers crossed. I mean, this is hard, so this might not happen. I'd love to be able to get a new location set up real quick, keep the dates, and just be like, okay, and we found a great place for it. We found a great team for it. This is all going to be awesome. But in reality, that's going to be tricky.
Yeah.
And if it's not going to be amazing, then we're going to have to push it back a bit. There is one thing that I do want to say that I think is really important, and that is people have a lot of feelings about these things, and people have a lot of valid feelings about these things. But please remember that the people organizing your events are human beings. Many of them are people that you've like. No, I've turned our stream into a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Many of them are people that you might know, that you might be friends with, that you might have hung out at events. And I am not someone who has a problem with disagreement or criticism or concerns. I think it's great that people bring these things up when they have them. I think it's important to discuss them and be open to hearing them. But when it turns into things like rage or abuse, that's really not okay.
Well, you can be angry, but it's how you communicate that anger.
Between anger and rage. Yeah, if you're angry and upset, you can communicate that. But when it turns into things like just blanket abuse of people or outright screaming at them or and it's not about like tone. It's not like don't express this with ardor
you can
or with
be upset and say that you're upset.
But jumping straight to attacking people and abusing people who, I mean, almost definitely do not intend to harm you and are open to discussing it if you feel like they have harmed you. So this isn't about me personally. Oh my god, my air conditioner! I hope this isn't really loud.
I mean, Dave was not the host, but
no, I wasn't directly the host. So this isn't about me personally. This is just about how some people reacted towards the host, and this isn't about, again, I'm not trying to be like finger pointing or anything like that, but there was definitely some amount of just straight up anger and vitriol poured at this person for just like even trying to host. And I again, like, let's just treat everyone like human beings, and if we have problems, we can express them. And again, and many people, to be fair, expressed their problems in what I would consider a perfectly acceptable way, which is why.
Oh yeah, but most people did. To be fair, most people were very constructive and just said, "Look," and I think maybe it's the timeline is and when did you start talking about this Florida event, Dave? I mean ages ago.
It was a long time, and that's the other problem.
So then someone the host approached Dave and went, "I want to hold an event." And generally that's a good thing, right? So then they were like, "Do you want to support?" And Dave was like, "Yeah, great, I'll support. I'd like to not be the host. I'd like to be the supporter." He does very well supporting WRC, if you've not noticed.
I do my best. I bought everyone alcohol. They wrote in their article.
And I think that this is part of the problem, though, right? Is that it takes a long time, and these things, and maybe it is the frog boiling in water, right? Because it started a long time ago, the process, and you're just kind of puddling along. And certainly, I don't follow American news to that degree. I mean, I didn't even know who DeSantis was, to be honest.
Well, it's been a big thing, both because of the level to which this is bad, and also because DeSantis has big presidential ambitions. So everyone's talking about him and trying to
exactly, and
that's stuff like that. So
so that's been warming up. And then there was this particular bill that was signed, as I understand it. And yeah, I don't know. I feel personally that the situation sort of got away from us. I mean, I'm not directly involved, but obviously, Dave asked me for my advice, and we talked about it.
But it's hard talking about it from the outside. I appreciate the support, Carol, but no more personal anythings. But it's hard talking about it from the outside. Like we had the conversation, and then the people impacted did not share our opinion, and are the people with more rights to have those opinions than I am. I can't go to people and be like, "No, sorry, it's actually fine." And it's hard for the people there. You're right. It's hard for the people in Florida. There are people in Florida who want to go to it. That's hard. It's hard for people. It's hard for people in the impacted communities who are there, and people outside of there are going to feel differently about coming there than people who still live there and are on the ground. Like there's a wide range of opinions and feelings people are going to have, and like it's hard. And I think about to use the extreme jumping straight to World War II perspective, like there must have been a decent amount of period during which if because I'm a Jew, I can talk about Jews, right? If I'm a Jew in Germany in like the late 30s, and I'm saying, well, things are still fine here, right? Like I'm still here, I'm still alive, I still feel fine about being here, so it's all right. It's not as bad as it seems. And then other people are going to have really strong opinions about it being real bad from the, and it's not about who's right or wrong. And I'm not trying to say like there's a right or wrong perspective here. It's just
I mean, okay, I'm not going to. I don't think we should go to World War II. I think that's probably not the right. I think the problem partly, like the way that some of it was expressed and was isolating to the host was, and I think this is a modern problem. This lack of kind of nuance that different people's views can be conflicting and also valid. I think it's entirely valid that someone in Florida would want to host an event. That's entirely valid feeling because it's fun. It's fun hosting an event. I know we don't make it look like it's fun, but it can be. And it's an entirely valid feeling for someone to be like, I am not going there. And I think maybe that's, I want to stress that most people who I mean, some people raised it to me, not as many as raised it to Dave and the host, but I think the majority of people were really constructive.
I agree.
The problem is when you're in a low point, you hear the nastier voices louder, right? And that's the difficulty, and that's not most people's fault.
To be fair to folks, I think this kind of ties into Imaska's question. Is this part of a larger circuit? The answer, I think, first of all, there was a lack of clarity around what the answer to that was, which was distressing to people. And the answer is kind of both yes and no. So many people who complained sounds too negative. Again, many people who raised concerns. That's a good way to do it because the people who were being humans, they raised concerns. They had their thoughts. Had issue with the fact that this was not a Florida event, but the North American Open. And I think there's a valid perspective. Like this is not just the Florida people are running an event in Florida, and many people expressly said, like, it's fine. Florida people want to run an event in Florida. Great. Like, yes, I might choose not to go, but fine. But making this the North American event or a highlighted event and also excluding a good chunk of the community is not good. And I think that's a valid statement.
We have a very diverse community. And, I hope at least that people find the Reach community very welcoming.
I would hope so.
People of all backgrounds, including, and it's LGBTQ plus over there, or have you got the I yet?
I'll be honest, I'm never exactly sure.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure, but I know that the UN likes the I, but I have heard people say that you shouldn't use the I. But okay. So whichever is the correct acronym, I would like to use the correct acronym.
Mildly stressful.
But I am very ignorant and stupid. So let's just go for LGBTQ plus for the moment. But yeah, God, it would horrify me if we alienated anyone for any reason.
Yeah, I mean the objective is not to make anyone feel unwelcome. As far as alternate events, when I say yes and no. And again, I feel like there was a little bit of a lack of clarity, which is a communications issue. There was a seat that was going to be available NAO, and that seat was specifically a non-quota seat.
Yeah, so I think I can talk to this, because this was also confusing, because people said, well, why have they got one? It's not because it was NAO. I'd like to stress that we offer a qualifying tournament to all of our ex-hosts. That's kind of been grandfathered in since the dawn of time. So the TNT Club in Paris, Kazu, this will now be able to hold a qualifier, and USPML. And Dave said to me, well, can they have this seat? Because, it's part of the support package, right? And I was like, sure, okay. I said, I think that was not communicated well. Maybe people thought that it was subtracting from their ability to, rather than an addition.
Twofold. I think people were concerned because, again, I think it wasn't well communicated. People were concerned. Yeah, this was a North America seat that was just being completely removed from there. But either way, they felt like this was a seat that they didn't even have access to trying for because of the location of the event. And I recognize that can be very frustrating as well. So I understand that. As far as larger circuit alternate events, for U.S. qualification, yes. The plan was to be very careful with our U.S. qualification scheme to say this event can be part of your U.S. qualifier attempts, but there will be many other U.S. qualifiers, and no player who did not attend NAO should be in any way really penalized or have less of a chance of qualifying.
I mean, I would have thought attending the NAO would be more difficult to qualify than if you were in the circuit. Yeah.
Yeah. If anything, it's going to be a bigger event with stronger players coming, ideally. So you'll do better at a smaller event, maybe. And so with the part that we control the qualifying structure, the intent was to be very equal and to be like if for some reason people don't feel comfortable going, make sure they're not at all penalized. This was considered and thought about and planned around. So as I said, it's kind of yes and no. And again, I do understand why people seeing this opportunity and then feeling like, well, I can't go there. That's not a good feeling.
I hope the situation has been rectified. That's my ultimate hope now.
Well,
and that's I think I said it in a few Discords, but I really would like to stress again that anyone who was actually involved in organizing that event really did just want everyone to have a good time. They didn't want to hurt anyone. They certainly weren't like mwahaha. I mean, if you know the organizer, you know they're not going to be mwahaha. They of course they would want everyone from the LGBTQ plus community coming. They've got way more skin in that game than we have. And so yeah, that's kind of, that was the real sadness for me, I guess. Not the canceling. The canceling's fine. Canceling. Those things happen. Yeah. But that people couldn't see this person, these individuals just wanted to have a good time with their friends.
Yeah, there's no malicious intent. And again, if it was,
and I'm hoping that was my concern, I guess, because I'm external, right? My concern was that if the discourse went too far, then it's not just about cancellation. They won't feel welcome in, to have a good time where the NAO is rescheduled.
Right, and that's the thing. And that's kind of our goal, to kind of spin some of this challenge into gold, is to have a more community-driven process where people can feel good about the selection process, clubs can submit things, people can feel like it's been transparent, and we can have an event that everyone feels positive about, that feels like they had a say. And overall, improving our communication process with everyone.
So, Dave, I have a question for you, actually, because I've pondered this.
Now it's a hot question for Dave.
Yeah, it's a hot question for Dave. I just wonder, because, WRC's election of a host is not transparent. It's not democratic in any way, shape, or form. It's quite, there's a lot of... We have a lot of stakeholders, right? And a lot of stakeholders say a lot of things, and then we balance those stakeholder demands and choose a location from that. I'm not really sure how community driven that is. Of course, I tried to take the pulse of the community, but I couldn't say it was a community driven choice. And I wonder if my behavior rubbed off on you. And you kind of mirrored what I'd been doing, but then that's not maybe appropriate in the States. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think it's a few different things. I think the concerns around where to host WRC are a little different. And WRC really does look for things like prestige locations. So
we've got to get sponsorship in, right?
Paris and Vegas,
if we had a request for a proposal, we probably have some great proposals, but they might be in, I don't know, let's say Slough in England, and then I'd have to go to these Japanese people and like, do you want to come to Slough? And they'd be like, what? No.
I think it was a few things. I think, these are things that I've said to people. Again, there's no magic new thing for me to say on this, but I think one of the challenges was coming out of the pandemic. A lot of the groups that I was familiar with that I could have reached out to didn't exist anymore. And I wasn't super familiar with a lot of the newer groups that had kind of sprung up over that time. And to be frank, a lot of the newer groups don't necessarily, and again, I don't mean this to sound insulting, but they haven't held larger events before. They don't have experience doing it, and they don't necessarily have the structure or financial backing to do a large event. And that's challenging for them. And again, that's not to say that they're bad groups. I'm sure they're wonderful, but it takes a little bit of time and experience to be ready for that. I think the situation in Florida got worse since when we started considering it, which is unfortunate because, it deteriorated from where it was for sure. And I think that it's a little... I feel like WRC has been able to pick a location and then pick a host, almost.
I'm not sure, actually. It's interesting. Well, so you want the dark history of WRC. I mean, so Martin Rep was the one who organized the Paris people, the TNT group. So I wasn't really part of that, but he wanted, so when Martin Rep wanted, propose this, he went to a group that he knew were passionate about Ricci and said, look, do you want to host this event? If I go and I pitch it, will you host it? and they agreed. And
Right.
I want to stress, I think the turnaround schedule was crazy. Like 6 months, it was an insanely short time frame in which they organized. It was crazy. I still stress, I can't stress how much they did and how much they achieved. I mean, if you told me you had to do that now, I'd be like, there's no.
I'd just be like, no,
it was
no,
something
that's not possible.
ridiculously short. It was crazy. It wasn't quite as bad as 6 months, but certainly, you know, especially as you were being told to organize something we'd never seen before.
Yeah, there's no template for this at all. It's just like, do it.
They built it from the ground up. Anyway, so they did that. And then, if you remember, exactly, and we were sat in the room and we were like, well, this is good. We should definitely do this again. How are we going to make sure this happens again?
Yeah.
And the Japanese were like, Mr. Moran was like, well, we have to make sure we announce something now. Because if we don't announce something now, the momentum will be lost. Mr. Moran was a smart man. And so he just sat in the room. He just pointed at Dave, like, you'll do it. It was very Garth-esque. If you ever know Garth, he does this pointing. What about you? Moran was like, what about you? And then Dave was like, okay. He's like, and Moran was like, I like Vegas. Okay.
Did we settle on? We looked at a few different spots. We looked at Carnegie Hall.
He was always very clear though that he wanted Vegas. You were like, we could try somewhere else. And then
because Vegas was far away from me, and it was hard to have to do like a remote thing. But like I think.
And then for the Vienna event, you know, people approached me and said, I'd be interested in doing this. And I talked to a couple of people. And then Lena in particular and her group kind of stood out as, you know, people who would be able to see it through. Because that's the other thing with WRC.
At that point, we knew endurance was like the prime quality.
It gets dark. WRC. And I would like to, now I'd like to compliment Lena because it got way darker than I thought. I never thought COVID would happen. There was some, I sat in the wood behind my house and sobbed for an hour at one point during the pandemic because I just didn't know, you know,
Don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's like, I just didn't know how to cope with the fact that we'd taken these people's money. And and how were we going to deliver? I had no vision of how we could deliver in 2020.
So
and then anyways, but Dave did a great job as well. But he's here, so I can't say nice things to his face. That's the British.
No, that's terrible. That's terrible. But I mean, I think targeting prestige locations also usually means targeting neutral locations. Like again, Vegas.
This is where it's difficult for me as an external body because Orlando's. Maybe people here just don't associate Orlando with Florida.
It's these things came up when discussing it, but unfortunately, it is still in the state.
Yeah, I mean, but then we're getting the feedback from Americans, right? And of course, it's the North American Open. It should. They're the voice that needs to be heard, right? Not the voice of some random British pro. Yeah. But it's because I mean, I spoke to people I knew who had interests in these kinds of things, and they were like, But then, as you said, everyone's opinion is going to be different, and they're certainly going to be different if you're outside of America.
Yeah,
because we don't have the same news cycle. And I tell you now, our government is doing not the same shit, but I would say equally awful shit.
It's still some heinous shit
to these communities. But so our news cycle is obviously quite rightly focused on that because that's what we're voting for.
That's what's going on. That's what's going on with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, in all honesty, there are a lot of great places we can hold this event. I think we can find somewhere that makes everyone happy, and to try to again, my positive hope for this is that we get like engagement, and people can feel good about this, and people can feel like there's a process that they work with that feels good. People can feel good about working together in this coordinated nationwide way, like we really have not done a great job of doing in the past. And that's going to be my like positive trajectory thought, because I want a positive thing to come out of this. Look, a mistake got made. People did get upset and feel hurt. We've done our best to correct it and apologize. And now we can move forward and try to do better. And I think that's all that can happen going forward. I will note, for people who don't know anything about organizing, I'm going to tell you this from the back end. The contract... Let's learn a little bit about the realities and the numbers of this. And this is not to brag, but one of the things
really, is this
that
bragging or becoming a victim, Dave?
A little bit of both, but it's not some kind of poor me. But one thing that's always very frustrating to people who do organize any event, anyone, anywhere, is when people start talking about how rich you must be and how much money you must be making off that event and all kinds of things like that. And at the end of the day, because I was working with the Florida folks, my corporate entity is the one that signed the contract with the venue before we announced. Now, this is very important to anyone organizing events, actually, which is never
get yourself
sign.
a corporate
Yes,
entity.
yes, have a corporate entity. Never sign the contract yourself, because if you sign the contract yourself, you are liable.
Let's say that global pandemic happens or a hurricane hits.
Yeah,
you are liable.
Well, there's usually a force majeure clause.
Oh no,
if
no,
they honor
no.
it.
As I learned during the pandemic, some of those act of God clauses or force majeure are not as. Yeah. The interpretation is not great.
And the last thing I'd like to see is someone anywhere, but I can speak more effectively about America and how things work in America, but someone anywhere being like, oh boy, I'm going to run an event, and signing some contract with a venue and then having something happen that makes their event not work out, whatever it is, and then they're on the hook. I was able to have a good conversation and unwind that contract without particular loss, but particularly large loss, I guess. But there was a 5-figure penalty potentially on that contract for canceling. And because I signed that through a corporate entity, I had protection where if that happened and if there was nothing I could do about it, I could just be like, well, I'm bankrupt now, goodbye, and not have my personal life ruined, which is great. Not having my life ruined makes me happy. But like, if you are signing a contract with a venue, be careful. Do it through an entity such that if if you're doing, if this is for business, of course, if it's for my second bar mitzvah, then I do it personally, because it's just for me. But if it's for an event like that, do it through a business, do it through a corporate entity, because that gives you protection if your business venture, which is kind of that event, fails on you. Again, everything's okay. This isn't about like, oh, how brave it was to cancel. But this is just like a warning to everyone, because had the folks from Florida just signed that under their own names, there might have been a much bigger problem in terms of like financial outcomes here.
Yeah, I mean, I've stressed, I don't know. I've heard the saying like, oh, you must be making bank from this. I think I spitballed the figures. I think that, we charge 400 euros per person to attend 2022. I think it was probably about 800 euros per head is what it actually cost to run the event.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, do you know? And I'm only spitballing because some of what happens and goes into it. I mean, I'll be honest. I put my own credit card down for some of it, which I know you shouldn't do, but
I've done it. I've done it.
Yeah. And so that's just kind of absorbed into Gemma's general poor financial life decisions. And I'm still not considering, the hours of work.
Yeah, and the intangibles, right? At work.
Yeah, and the paid work loss, because people were taking time out of their actual work lives to work on the event. Yeah, I don't foresee an opportunity for WRC to ever make bank, as it were, if we manage to break even and pay the ongoing costs to run the WRC on an annual basis. That would be amazing.
I mean, there is a point. There's a point where, like, for any hobby, right? There's a point where it is big enough that you could say, yeah, a ticket to WRC is $10,000, and like people become willing to pay it because there's so many people, there's so much media, there's so much.
Oh, but Dave,
there's in theory some theoretical point.
Yeah, but Gemma's ideology cannot allow that to happen. I cannot allow there to be a financial obstacle like that.
Well, at that point, people would just sponsor folks.
Oh, yeah, okay, but then if that was happening, then maybe
like there'd be various other things. Yeah, this is like a world of the future. If Mahjong's as big as American football, which I'm just going to put out there because it's offensive to Europeans, but like if Mahjong's as big as American football, there's money to be made in American football. People are making money hand over fist in American football. When you're that big, you can do that. But
yeah, but it's, I don't know. It's, yeah, I mean, both me and Dave have,
it's
in desperation. In desperation, I'm there like slapping my credit card to buy Mahjong sets and get them into the country. I'm like, yeah, sure, just take my credit card. I'll pay the customs. I just don't care anymore.
I think at every event we've done, there's been a moment where someone has been like, just buy it. It's like, we don't care. It doesn't matter. Just buy it.
I always remember, I don't know if you ever saw the Fire Festival documentary,
Oh
where
God.
like the guy was asked to go down to the customs station and give the customs agent a blowjob to get the water released. And it was just such a mundane story. I'm like, just it's not relatable because
It
obviously
really
nothing
is
like that ever happened to
relatable. No, it's
WRC.
not at all relatable. No.
But I can understand how people get in that mindset, you know? They,
Well, oh
they
yeah,
get in that.
like, it just has to happen
Yeah,
now. Like it
exactly. They're like
just,
desperate.
yeah, it just has to get done.
Yeah. And
Otherwise,
maybe
it's
that's
going
why
to
I
be a
find Fire
disaster.
Festival always so I can't every time there's some new information, I can't not look at it because that
Yeah.
happened right before 2017 as well, right?
Look, if you have ever
And
organized an event, learn more about Fire Festival because you'll just feel better about yourself.
well, because
You'll
but the thing
just
is,
feel better
some
about
of what
yourself.
they say, it's like, you know, at what point does organizing an event? Because I'm sure, so, you know, like a lot of what they said were like, well, that's what WRC has had to do, you know, wing
Hmm.
it, wing
Hmm.
it. Um, uh,
Yeah.
you know,
What they were organizing was so much more complicated.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. That, I mean, that was their problem. Like
I'm
you
not
can
putting
wing it on
people on a
some things.
plane to an island in, you know, wherever it was. But like, still, it's just, you know, I can see how you get into that mindset. You know, you're like, we're going to tell people it's going to be great. We're going to tell people we're going to do this, this, and this, and then you work out how to deliver afterwards. And I think that's a common way of working, right?
I hope not. It's really irresponsible.
Do you not think? No, no. I mean, come on. I don't know. We didn't know for 2014 whether professionals would come.
I mean that's really going out on a limb there. I would have been a little uncomfortable without any kind of commitment.
Oh, I mean, we you know, but you know, we had some commitment, but we didn't know what the end result was going to be, right?
Hmm.
And I was telling the Japanese, well, it's going to look like this. I didn't know what it was going to look like. I just
Hmm.
didn't know. But we were there trying to convince people. Of course, I'm trying not to promise crazy stuff, you know, like there's going to be some tables and some mahjong sets. Although I did have nightmares that we had to play Snap at the event for a while
What?
because the
Really?
mahjong sets didn't come.
Oh, there
And
was
then
no
they're like,
mahjong.
yeah, and they're like, we've got some Snap, so I'm like, we're going to just play Snap instead. I was like, oh my god. Um, yeah. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be saying this, but it's a little bit like that sometimes.
Hmm.
A little bit like that, not entirely. And
Well,
it,
I feel like you learn to where to be specific and where to be vague.
mm-hmm,
You know,
mm-hmm.
like you can say like lots of attendees, exciting things to do, and like okay, we're gonna figure out the exciting things to do later. We're gonna try our best, but I'm not gonna say A, B, and C because I don't know if we can do it. You know, if I'm like
I know, and
jugglers and
it did get,
buffets, and it's like
yeah,
whoa,
it did get more difficult around COVID as well because, of
yeah,
course, we wanted to give people more time with the pros at 2022, and then, of course, they either got COVID or were terrified of COVID.
right.
Like COVID just ran through that event.
It was bad. I mean, it's still bad.
I
People
had
just don't.
COVID so bad after that.
Oh, I did not. I haven't had it
I
in a
don't know how
long
you
time.
got away with it.
I'm
Yeah,
very
it was
strong. I
because I got
flex.
COVID. I got COVID after 2022 in August. I had it. Came home with it, and it was bad. Whole family had COVID, obviously. And then I caught COVID again in December, and that was the worst. Actually, that was the worst COVID bout. I just lost. Like my brain just wouldn't work. It wasn't the initial like being sick for a week or two. Like it was that long trail.
Mm,
It was
mm.
awful. I mean, I'm not going to say long COVID because I don't. You know, people have got serious issues with long COVID.
I mean,
You know.
but people are still saying in general that there is some kind of long tail effect in some
Mm.
cases, depending on how your immune system works. Again, I don't want to necessarily use that keyword either, but there's definitely like lingering effects that can
Yeah,
go on for a while.
yeah. I just couldn't get my brain to function like I'm used to it functioning,
Mm.
which was worse than after I had a baby. And they always talk about mum brain.
Well,
It
maybe
was
I'm
worse
maybe.
than that. You got mum
Oh
brain.
God, I don't want to say. I was gonna say maybe I'm safe because of RFK's wonderful theory, but
What's who's RFK?
oh God. The Republicans have bankrolled one of the Kennedys to announce their candidacy to be some kind of weird, crazy spoiler, and he said some kind of like insane racist stuff about how COVID doesn't target Jews and Asians.
What?
Again, just to bookend this real clearly,
Why
this is
Jews and
RFK's
Asians?
insane racist rants. This is
Why
not the
Jews
truth.
and Asians? I
I
need to
don't
know what the connection is.
just the conspiracy. Look, it's just
Is it just like who do we hate on?
It's
Chinese
just
folk
two
and
groups. Well,
Jewish folk.
we hate the people that we want to fantasize like invented COVID or made COVID again. Terrible, not true, super
Oh
bad.
right, I see where he was going. He was like, oh, we're going to blame the
Not
Asians
as
for
much. Yeah,
COVID.
yeah. He was
But
like,
then how does
no,
that
it's
fit
so.
into our worldview that the Jewish folk controlled it all? We'll blame them both.
It's because we both hang out on the one day where Christians can't see what we're doing. Christmas.
Oh yeah,
Everyone knows.
You want Chinese food, right? Is
Yeah,
that the racist stereotype?
Christmas we eat Chinese food because they're open because they don't care about Christmas.
Right, you
and
have
that's
this big
when we
meeting.
scheme.
Yeah, you have a big meeting to take down Christendom. I see, Dave. That's why you never fight me on Christmas Day.
I'll bring you around to meet the gang.
You
can see
right.
What our plans are.
When I'm there messaging Dave, going "Merry Christmas, Dave," I know you hate it when I when I tell you this, and you're just so busy chatting about how you can take me down.
We're busy. We're working.
Wait, come on, Dave. You must have had many opportunities to take me down by now. You are really taking your time here.
It's real. I'm just savoring it. I'm just savoring it.
It is. To be fair, if this is your form of torture, you're doing a really good job.
All right, so we've talked about a bunch of stuff.
So we cancelled the event. Anyone want to ask any questions? This is a great time to ask questions about anything. We're in a very open, transparent mood right now, and we're not obviously going to bullshit like we normally do.
Oh, I'm always bull. That's my secret. I'm always bullshitting.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions, and again, I will only apologize for the part I played. I obviously, people asked me my opinions, and I thought it was fine, and I was wrong.
Yeah. I mean, it was a misstep. It wasn't what people wanted. It wasn't what made people feel good. And so we'll do a better job.
But exactly. But The Economist has some really good articles on DeSantis. I spent much of this week reading.
That dude is awful. But for some reason, he's entirely unlikable, which is his like.
I see. I still don't think I could pick him in and out of a lineup. I don't know if this is new to Americans, but our news cycle really. I mean, we barely get to hear about Trump's nonsense these days.
Good. No one wants to hear about him. No,
exactly. We don't want to hear about it. Right. To be fair, right now our schools are collapsing in.
Wait, why are your schools? Yeah, hold on. Why are your schools? Let's find a Mahjong game to look at. Also,
yeah, maybe play a Mahjong game. I tell you. So what they did was they have this cheap ass concrete that's full of air balls, and they built a lot
real
of
quick. Did you say you had a game, or should I just pick a random?
You pick a random game. I've got.
I'm gonna pick a random Armel game from recent.
Yeah.
times.
So I see. I don't hear much. Do you know what? My Twitter feed is not full of the things that other people's Twitter feed is. My Twitter feed is full of Mahjong, gerbils, and lots of adverts for if you've got an infant child, unsurprisingly. Anyway, so what they've got is they made these concretes with lots of air balls in. And do you have aero bars in America? Like a bar of aero chocolate. It's really light concrete, and they could throw it up really quickly, cheap to make. It all seemed good, right? They were doing this from the 60s to the 90s. Everyone thought everything was good. Until, of course, the roof started collapsing because there was water ingress, and then it sagged, and then the steel bars that were inside this aerated concrete, failed, basically.
That's no good.
So that's no good. So we've known this problem has been bubbling along for a long time now. Let's say, I think it's 10 years we've known about it, or at least the government's been aware of it. And then, they've been talking about it. So they started propping up some of the buildings, including hospitals, with extra support. And then I think it was yesterday or the day before, the government were like, actually, do you know, we can't let your children go into those buildings because otherwise, I think a roof collapsed a couple of weeks ago. They're like, legitimately, the roof might collapse and kill your child. This is, so on Monday, the kids are due to go back to school, right? So now all these parents are going to have their kids at home like it's COVID again. I know. What you can do, I don't know, like absolute hell. So that's what we're talking about. So we don't talk about it, and that's the problem, right? And that's again why I think I always have to elevate the local voices. The American feedback that we receive is because you don't see it, right? If I asked you anything about the UK, you wouldn't.
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
I mean, the people involved. The people involved are the people to be listened to, and the people who know better, whether that's based on geographical scale or community membership or things like that. Like you can't just like swoop in. All right, let's take a look. Oh man. Yeah,
Twitter. I mean, it's not even Twitter. X. I hate it. Like, how can you have gone from something that was so well branded, like retweet, tweet, all of those vocabulary to we're just going to change it to post and quote.
Well, it's just
Elon Musk, if you're watching, can you sponsor WRC?
Yeah, could you please sponsor WRC? That'd be great.
I won't cuss out your Twitter.
Yeah,
Oh, sorry, X.
He's gonna rename it into X. It'll just be
He's
called
already
X.
done it.
No, he'll rename WRC X as well.
Oh yeah,
like the event's called X now. You got to go to X.
It's and the everything event.
It's not Reach Mahjong anymore. It's X Mahjong. You got to say X when you discard a tile and XR. Yeah, XR. Extreme.
Okay, how much? Yeah, but how much? How much? You know, like this. Like everyone's got a price, right? I'm just trying to work out what my price would be. I think $1 billion, and I'd let him do that.
Yeah. Oh, I like XRC. XRC is the newer, hipper, Extreme Reach Championship. no one wears suits anymore.
Reachy.
Yeah, everyone's got an attitude, and Tony Hawk's there, who's like old now. He seems pretty chill though. I follow him on Instagram.
Tony Hawk?
Yeah, because he's just real chill.
I only know him from the video games.
Yeah, no, he's one of those guys who's like, he was a celebrity, but now he's old. And I mean, he was a sports celebrity too. Like, he's older and he can't still be an extreme sports guy entirely because he's just older. But he still skateboards a lot apparently, and like, he's one of those celebrities where it's like, he didn't have any urge to like obsessively hog the limelight and like turn into an actor or like stay in front of everyone. He's probably rich enough that he can just chill and live his life. And he's never had like a horrible scandal or anything. So he just seems like a nice guy who goes around being nice to skateboarding people. And I'm like, well, this is so pleasant to see in our era of constantly finding out that public figures are awful. I'm like, Tony Hawk seems nice. Here's him just like hanging out with some excited skateboard people signing their boards. I'm like, this is great to see. This makes me happy.
But but then I will say to you now that, of course, Mahjong is good because you can still be at the top of your game even when you're 70.
That's true.
You can't, like, I see those Rubik's Cube people and I'm like, geez, there's a limit to how long you can do that. Chess, obviously, is more like Mahjong in that respect, but yeah. I mean, those Rubik's Cube people, I mean, geez, I can't even hand them moving the fingers that fast.
That'd be really, they go real fast. It's real interesting.
Well, Milliken Dave, wow, you got a 7 down there when you left. Whoa.
Yeah, I know. Let's not look at that.
Is this your game?
No, this is not my game. This is an Arble game that looked interesting in function, how it went. It's a mid-level game, so it's B League, B1. So that's what we're looking at. Who do we want to follow? We can follow this way. We can follow a different player. I don't really know. This player is, I don't know what their outcome is, so I don't want to peek because then everyone will know.
No, let me just follow this person.
Let's just roll with this player. So let's look at that. For some reason, I like this starting hand. And I don't know if there's a justification for it.
Okay, so maybe you recognize that.
I like that it's mostly one suit. So like flush is a thing. Wait, what works now? EMP's found something that works now.
Anything works?
Yeah, anything works. I like there's a big flush going on. Or at least flush opportunity. Even if it's not really that great. I like having these overlapping cards for some reason. Oh, the XRC, it doesn't work.
I'm going to trademark that, so at least Elon will also have to pay me for that. I'll make my money back.
This 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 structure, for some reason, I kind of like. It's very like Tenhou. It's a little call. I do like that there's good door acceptance. That's good. And I like that my first discard is real obvious as like maybe the 8-man, maybe the 1-so, maybe the North. Like those are the 3 things. I'm
sorry, there's only one. Isn't it? Well, okay, I'll accept 2 answers. I won't accept the answers you just gave.
What?
It's either one. It's either 1 or North. I mean, I don't know why you'd prefer the 8-man.
It's just because it's probably going to go if I'm getting flushy, but I'd probably just stick with the 1. The 1 is the most obvious thing that can totally go.
And if you're watching this, kiddos, the reason for that is that if you throw the 8-man, you lose the ability to use the 9, the 8, the 7, and the 6-man. Yeah. If you throw the 1 bamboo, you only lose the ability to accept another 1 bamboo.
Right. 2 and 3 still look fine in your hand.
Yeah, exactly. The loss is minimized. So that's why I reacted so strongly to what David said.
Yeah, the 8 is like an aspirational throw of like, this suit is just leaving because we're doing a flush, and that might be well ahead of yourself.
They're your B-listers of departure, but your A-lister is your 1 bamboo, or potentially your North, depending on where you're taking this.
Yeah, the North is a fine thing because it's probably not, but North can still work with your flush while 1 can't. I mean, so I'd probably put 1 at the top of my list.
I'd find it difficult to argue against anything but the 1.
This is why the 5-man first discard is the strong move for strong people. Just bam, you tell everyone what's going on here. They know.
Dave, I think you should get 4 people that you train, and I should XRC.
Yes, it's the Dave Crew versus XRC. Exactly.
And then I should have my 4 people, and then we should make them fight. 4? No, it can't be 4. You should have 2 and me have 2.
Yeah, that would actually be great. Team versus team Pokemon with my acolytes versus your acolytes versus
Exactly.
Dave's
And I'm
aggressive
telling you right
Chanta.
now, my style will win. My style will win. End of story. The XRC style. That's what we'll call it. No, I think
no,
I'm
the XRC.
I
You're
think Dave is the
WRC.
XRC style. That's true. I'm like the dull. I'm the dull style.
It's the traditional, the classic style. I don't think it's dull. I don't think it's that bad.
See, and this is why you don't throw the 8-man.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you immediately got good material to work with the 8-man, so that's great. I bet the North goes. This player seems to be well on top of their what should I discard game.
I mean, I'm even thinking here that you can. It could be an open Tanya if necessary.
See, right here is where we're starting to. This is an interesting spot.
Oh, nice.
This is the spot where you say to yourself, probably my flush isn't happening. But that's only because I'm getting these very welcome, good two-sided sets. So, like, okay, great, I've gotten something good for something good. But now what do I do? Because my options here in my mind are the 3. I'm just going left to right, to be fair, not best to worst. But there's the 3-man because it's one of my few completely unconnected tiles. And now do I give up on the East or the Chun? I guess if I'm giving up on something, I should give up on the Chun over the East because the East is Tuhan. I'm the dealer. Yeah. So Chun is maybe the strong discard here. No, it's not strong. But it might be the best. It might be the best discard here just because
Boomer
it's the least
versus
to give
the Zoomer. I mean, for me, I'd almost be starting to think, and this is aggressive, is if the 6-man comes out on the left, I might call it and go for a...
Just be like Tenhou time?
Yeah, because you can call the 4-pin or the 8-pin. And then if you do double up on the East, well, you can make it an East. That would be my gutsy is to sort of start moving towards the situation where I can call it.
Yeah, I mean, I still think the Chun is probably the best thing to throw here, though.
I mean, you can't. The reason for keeping the East is it's worth 2 times to you. Yeah. Like,
it's like we got 2 tiles in a block. We got block. We got set. We got block. We got block. The 3 is the only other even option in my mind right now.
Yeah. So if you want to throw the 3. I don't disagree.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't disagree with it.
It's now cutting a more dangerous tile earlier when you're so close to ready anyway. So maybe.
Again, it's back to the loss, right? If you really want to be very, very regimented about it, throwing the 3 means you lose the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 man.
Yeah,
it's a big loss.
Chun or East is just Chun or East.
Yeah, exactly. But you might think that you have to, get another Chun.
Yeah, no, and actually the 3 is a choice they make. Which is...
Would you call Dora?
Would you call Dora?
No. Not at this shape.
Yeah, it's like not quite right to call Dora. But they go for it. They're the 3.
If I called the 6-man, then I might start calling the Dora. Because I'd already...
What a sad time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that was the wrong call. If this is your game, I don't think that was the wrong call. That it might be a style thing.
Yeah,
but it does, of course, if you throw a suit tile out, you're going to start reducing your speed. That's just the way it goes. But you do have enough groups here without that 2-3 group.
Yeah, that's the thing. They haven't kneecapped themselves. It is unfortunate they draw the 2 next.
Yeah, but then you could have just found that you were too many shapes, too many Mensa. So, I'm okay.
Yeah. I wouldn't call that a big problem. It just wound up reducing their acceptance, and they got a little bit bit by that. But it hasn't ruined their hand.
I mean, you'd have to chosen a group to get rid of anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Why worry too much? Yeah,
you might. Yeah, I might. If doing that, I might end up cutting the 4-pin. Maybe because I want to be able to pull a 3 in easily, so I want to keep this as 4, 5, 6 if possible.
Yeah.
And cutting the 8s leaves you with the 4s as your pair. But anyway, player across calls a pong. Ooh, wow. Okay, real fast. Player to the right wins on 2-pin, and they win with what is this? This is wow. This is what? This is Pinfu Dora 1 on a 2-5-pin weight. Oh, I'm sorry, Dora 3. I'm sorry, the 1 is next to Pinfu Dora 3. On a 2-5 weight where the 5-pin would have been Ipeko, which actually wouldn't have brought it up anyway. But, whoa.
Oh.
I'm a little surprised to not see this reached, but at the same time, not reaching reaching it goes from 4 to 5, which doesn't help you that much.
We could flip the aura. I would have reached it. I mean, so early, there's nothing to read.
Yeah, with those discards too. It's not even like you have anything crazy in your discards. Your discards are entirely traditional. So maybe it would have been worth pushing. The sumo gets you to Hanuman if you reach. The 5-pin gets you to Hanuman if you reach, and then a flip gets you to Hanuman if you reach.
We have red 5s or no red 5s?
No red 5s. This is armor rules, so there's no red 5s.
I don't know. I would have, and because there's no red 5, I like it even more because people are less likely to be hoarding the inside of those.
Worried and aggressively worried about that 2-5 weight.
So I like a reach on that hand. Personally,
I can also see, but again, I can also see that voice in my head, and maybe this is Gemma's voice in my head, going, "If you reach, it'll never come out." You know, they're on a 2-5 pin weight. It's real early in the game. These tiles are tiles people might well cut. So like, I can see their logic in being like, if I dom on this,
show me a game with Western players where they fold the first hand ever. On an early reach like this. Come on.
See, now we've traded places. Yeah, you're just like you got to play the players. The players are going to ignore your reach and just plow forward because they always do.
Okay. I think when it's this early, you do kind of have to plow forward anyway.
It is a little. You're right. Like especially an early reach like that, you have no read on it. It's like, well, what do I do?
Exactly. It's just Russian roulette at that point. Like you don't, okay, sure. Some of them might start throwing those honors, but some of them will be like, what's he got? He's not going to have 3 Dora.
Yeah, it's got to be something bad with a bad weight. Let's just go. Probably the best of the bunch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but again, I don't actually know this league level, but I will say that Western martial players tend to be a little bit more aggressive.
I think it's actually something that gets
beat
into you from playing a lot of Tompusen. If you play a lot of Tompusen, like in general, you need to aggress, but especially the first hand, it's like you just go.
Yeah, well, exactly. Western players are here to play.
Here to play.
Yeah. And doesn't everyone like winning the first hand? You win the first hand, that's the first goal of the game. Like psychologically, you're up there then, right?
Yeah.
Poor D-San here is like, oh my god, I can't believe I just lost it.
Yeah, D-San is now just like, oh, this whole game is coming. He is not doing so good. And B-San's like, well, great, I'm ahead. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah. And come on, there's nothing wrong with him through Nomi, but it really hurts when you see they've got 3 Dora.
Yeah.
And you've thrown into that because, of course, you're going to look at it and like, well, there's nothing too exciting going on, so I'm going to throw it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I didn't even think to comment on the discard. Like, it's early. It's fine. You're building your hand. Whatever. Like.
It's a 2-pin. It's a 2-pin.
Why it's next to the Dora, but it's not late enough in the game that you should be apprehensive of that particularly.
Yeah.
Like if this was third row of discards, I'd be like, it's right next to the Dora. Are you sure you want to throw that? Yeah. But like here,
they'd have had that 5-pin. They'd have had the Ipeco as well. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The 5-pin's
Ipeco. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
it's just manga.
I do want to reach. I don't think it would have affected other players' games significantly. I don't know how you fold effectively. I don't know, when did they become Tempai?
I think they became, so we can show hands here. So they were ready. They were dealt a lot of this. They got
so they were on their 4th discard. They became Tempai. Okay, I can see that.
3, yeah, here's where it happened. And so there was that. There was a call, and then there was getting rid of this 2-pin. Oh man.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Exactly. And I just think even if they'd have reached on that 9-pin with that hand.
You're not going to fold that. I mean, I might have thrown the Chun first, but I'm not it's going to come out. Like I might have gotten another go around, but it's going to come out.
You're not going to fold for a 2-pin in this for that nice hand.
They wouldn't have flipped anything though.
Wow. That's chasing rabbits. That's the way to madness.
Yeah. And actually, what's really interesting is, this was the only tile they could have won on that was, well, the 5 were all in people's hands and probably not coming out. This was really the only loose tile. The other 2 was in the dead wall. That's funny. But I mean, this is all chasing rabbits and luck. There's no strategy found here. I mean, this is a beautiful hand. Like, you go for this. You don't fold this. That's mahjong. That happens. It's just how it goes sometimes. You go head to head with someone, one of you's going to come out on top.
But I think it's going to be, that really has ramifications for the psychological level of the game. Yeah.
Well,
to have won.
I'm not going to say lucky.
I'm going to say lucky. I'm going to say lucky because they do have 3 Dora from, very early on in their draws. And that's going to hurt our 7 down. I mean, they are a high level player. So.
They're a high level enough player that they've taken these hits before and hopefully can like keep themselves in a good. It still just doesn't feel good. Like it happens, it doesn't feel good. But like when you play, like, you can be like, okay, I'm down now. What do I got to do? You get your head right back in the game is what you need to be able to do. And a high level player like this probably has enough experience to be doing that.
Can you get your head back in the game, Dave? Can you do it?
Except for that one time with that like dealer full flush on the first hand. That was a real bad time. But most times I can get my head back in the game. That one time was real bad.
I threw into a dealer Yakuman on like the first hand.
Oh.
And that was it for the day. I was out.
It was, to some degree, yeah. I'd just be like, well, goodbye, friends. Goodbye. It's been great.
I don't even know why I bothered sitting and staying. Yeah. But you start chasing, right? You're like, I've got to find the feeling where I'm in control again. And I just sat there and I just kept losing. And I was like, I just got to do one good hand, one good game. It just got worse and worse and worse and worse.
Now this hand, I like this.
Ooh.
I like this. This.
How coolly are you, Dave?
I mean, this is very Chanta-able. This could be Hot's North Chantadora Mangan.
I'm not gonna argue in this one. I just think please don't make the 5-pin the first discard. I think that's
just get that out. Just be done with it.
But you can throw the white dragon and it's no different.
Except that it would be great to draw another one, and it wouldn't be great to draw another 5-pin.
Well, you can just draw another 9-man. That's gonna screw up your Chanta plans.
You just draw a third one.
Okay, right.
That's how I do. Well, let's see what happens. To be fair, I got a first draw too. So, with this first white dragon out, I'll throw the white dragon. Ooh, we grab the north and throw the white dragon's not happening. Yeah. One's gone. Like, let's let it go.
Yeah, I like that.
We're real close.
I'm just gonna push the door to.
No.
Infant chop.
No.
Moving up the stairs.
This. Jim was walking away in disgust.
No, sorry, no. I was like, I could hear my son coming up the stairs, and I was like, he's probably got some hot takes on Mahjong you don't need to hear about.
This 4-so would lead me to chuck the 5-pin.
Yeah.
Because now I have a set. I have like a shape.
Are you happy with 2-hand?
This is one of those awkward situations, right? Like I can get out quick with a 2-han hand for 2,000 points, which like isn't bad because it locks me into second place. But
I mean, I would personally, for one reason, is that your chip lead gets pushed off their dealership and doesn't get to extend that lead easily.
Ahead can't keep getting ahead. I might throw the 9-so here. Like if I'm happy with 2, 3, 4, then I might as well be willing to get an upgraded set on the 5.
I'd throw the 5-pin.
Really?
I'd not lose my chance at Chanta, but I would call if the 3 bamboo came out, or the 5 or the 8.
Backwards, because this is amazing.
Backwards. Because if it was a red 5 rule set, I'd keep the 5-pin.
Yeah,
but it's not a red 5 rule set, so I'm throwing it.
Well, let's see. And the player follows suit.
Mm-hmm. I like this player. Is this player me?
With another 4, see now again we're getting challenged. This is where I'd probably have to throw that 9-so.
Yes.
Because I need the ability to call that HOTS, lock in extra value.
Or call the 4 bamboo.
Bam. Or call the 4 to be done. But either way, this gives me an option that accelerates my hand in a great way.
Yeah.
Again, smart moves. I like this player. They're doing all the right moves. And I get my 9 back. Chanta's like, no, don't you love me?
I'm not enjoying this down on this side either. No.
Yeah, that's the other problem. It's like they're not gonna throw anything that I need ever. Yeah. Oh no, here's a 7. What do we do here? Probably we just interesting.
Always throw the 2 bamboo.
Really?
Always, because now you can pawn from anyone.
Now you can pong something.
So I can pull the 4, the 7, or the green dragon from anyone, and I'm Tenpai. Whereas before, I could only pawn the 4 or the green dragon, or chi the 3 bamboo.
Chi the 3. So now I can no longer chi the 3 bamboo.
Yeah. So this is where there's kind of an efficiency in an open hand. If you're in an open situation and you've opened or here already, but if you know you're going to be in an open situation, you pull in tiles that allow you to pawn rather than chi.
Anyone.
Yeah.
4-pin that goes.
I like this player. Dude, if this is you, I like you.
That's interesting. We keep the 4-man and throw the 7-so.
Especially as the 4-man's just come out. Are they nervous about something?
I'm a little surprised by this because I feel like I'd probably... Yeah, I don't need the 4-man. Interesting. Maybe there's some worry going on.
Hmm.
But I don't know why the worry, like, unless you're specifically worried that the player to your west is ready, the 4-man is safe.
Bluffing Honitsu,
Bluffing
bluffing
Honitsu.
flush. Yeah, yeah, Chunman. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. 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 They could be trying to send a message to the player to their left, being like, "It's fine. Discard the whatever so tiles you want. I don't need them."
I mean, you are then, yeah, you're making you yeah, you're making a sacrifice of your sort of calling
Yeah.
efficiency
But they're
for.
hoping. But this puts them in an interesting spot
And
where if that
can I be
hots,
if I'm not going to be offensive, because I don't know whether I don't know what B League and Armor's like, but
um,
I would ask the question whether they would. I mean, come on, actually, do you know what? You've thrown a 5-pin early. They probably would be
at least a
thinking.
little concerned, at least a little looking over there, being like, "What's going on?" The interesting part is here. This gives you the option to, like, you call the hots and you throw a 4-man, and that kind of says like, "Oh look, I'm so
Yeah,
ready on this Honitsu," and then everyone starts throwing the other suits. So
but
maybe we're making up a
if you're
three-dimensional chess play here, but
well, if your opponents are very skilled, I would suggest that a 9 out of your hand and then later a 7 out of your hand would alert them to the fact that it's not a half flush.
hmm, hmm,
So, and this is where you're back to the meta. Like, I can see why someone might think it's a half flush. I just think if you were going to throw a 7-9 set because you were going for a half flush, the
you throw the
typical
seven
theory to throw the
first
7
because
first
it's more
and then
dangerous
the 9.
overall. Yeah.
But throwing the 9 and the 7 conveys this information that for some reason the 7 was useful to you. So
Hmm.
just sort of putting it out there. Again, it really depends on the context that you're playing in. I think if you were playing in a very high level room where there are a lot of Japanese players, that trick might not work. It might work
Another
here.
4-man, and here I bet if that's what they're doing, my guess would be that they throw the 4 here to keep going.
I think now you've done this, you have to do the 7 bamboo because you can then you can call the, I don't know, you can call the 5 or the 4 or the 4-man, but there's already 4-man on the table. I don't know. I can't say
Oh, they
because I
throw
don't
the
think I'd have got
4-man
myself.
as is.
Right. Okay.
Interesting. So I wonder if this was a timeout mistake or a misclick or something. It's possible.
Hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. Again, I don't want to cast aspersions on anyone.
And this is the other problem. If you're trying to do a bluff on a half flush, this is exactly what can happen. You suddenly draw all of those tiles, and it doesn't look like a half
Yeah.
flush at all.
Now your bluff is this bluff is now evaporated.
Mm-hmm.
Another 9. So
But it hasn't detrimented them. No one's done
no.
anything that you could have called at this point.
Okay, player to the right calls a 3-pin. That's going to make me a little nervous. 9-pin goes 5-man because they're quite possibly Tenpai if they're just discarding a 5-man as drawn. 5-pin. Now we throw the 4-man and hold a 5-pin because we're worried about 5-pin because this player has called pins and discarded very few of them. Ugh, here's the 3-so we would have wanted if we shaped our hand differently years ago.
No, that's nothing to do with it. But they throw the 5-pin here.
And they're now willing to risk the 5-pin. Everyone else is throwing the tiles they want to call.
I mean, I've got to say that bamboos are not great, are they?
No, but here we get Tenpai. So we're going to have to throw the 3-so and be ready on the 5-8, which looked pretty safe at least against everyone else. Oh no, but our high-ranked player Sumos, right before we get to see if we get anything out of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wow, this is a slightly awkward hand, but it looks like they were looking to see if they could grab a pair somewhere else or shift over into Dora.
Yeah, they're waiting to see if they get the Dora and then maybe it'd be a Dora pair.
Or Tenhou if they grab the right tile here.
Yeah, or yeah, I mean, if you get the 7 bamboo, then you'd be waiting 147.
Yeah, there were a few ways this could have gotten much better for them.
Or you could, yeah. There's a lot there that could improve. So I think that's a good call to not reach that one. Not that you care, Mr. 7 Dan, because you're Mr. 7 Dan, and therefore probably better at Marshall than me.
Yeah, no, I'd say I see why they were chilling out with that one. Little disappointing, but not that bad. It was really just a 300-point loss. Last place doesn't get out of last place. We're still hanging out in second. This hand is not terrible. Not amazing. Not terrible. We got at least 3 2-sided blocks in here to start with, so we got material. Oof. Oh, wow. So a dragon grabbed right off the bat by our leader, so we know that our leader is just like, I'm just going to go. Like, I'm going as fast as possible. I'm going to try to run away with this game. We get a 9. What do we want to throw? We could probably throw
8 man.
south.
8
You think
man.
8? You think just flatten immediately? Ooh, we cut this
I'm hoping
2.
that's, yeah, I don't know.
Pardon me.
Really? Huh. Interesting.
No, we complete 6, 7, 8, and we throw our own with the west, but west is dead, so we throw it. I might have thrown south instead and held that west for safety.
Yeah, exactly. I want an exit route on this one. I mean, I know you say it's okay, but it's really only okay.
Well, the perils of Ipeco rear their ugly head, so holding that 8 man paid off for once. And now the 4. I feel like this strikes me as something that I do. I caught myself doing sometimes. You just look at one suit. You know, you're like, oh, this is 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 8, 8, 9 is better, so I'll just throw this 4. And it's like there are other things here, like maybe the south should go.
I mean, maybe if you wait on the south, it's more likely to come out. I don't know.
That's true.
Maybe.
But here's the 3 that we could have used with the 4 to make a better group than the 1, 2. So, acceptance. This is twice so far this game. This poor player has been bitten by.
I feel like it's mostly that 3-4 set as well. Yeah, the 2-3-4. You should be wary of that one. That's out to hurt you.
The dealer grabs east, which is also unpleasant for us. Everyone's going nuts.
Yeah, you've got to find a way to exit now.
Yeah. Throwing the 5 as is a little brave.
I would now throw the 5 bamboo. I would start.
Yeah, just follow the previous player, and that 5 was a little too bold, and they deal into the dealer.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealer waiting on 5-8. It's just double east, which is like the least bad dealing you could have done.
But you've given east another opportunity.
East gets another go, and you got a 2,900 point shift.
No, it's okay to fold that early. I mean, we're on the 6 discard. In fact, I think it's recommended to review whether you should be folding at that point.
I just love folding, but I'd say when all of
recommended by Gemma.
When all 3 other players have called like that, it's like, oh man, like what do I got? I got 2 or 3 Sean 10 here. Like,
I mean, you've got to imagine Mr. 7 Dan had something. Can we go back and see what they were calling for?
Sure. Let's see.
Sorry.
You've
got to imagine they were doing something exciting. You can't see any Dora yourself.
Yeah, they got 2 Dora right here, and they're hoping to grab a 3rd. Like, yeah, they got value. They're pushing towards.
There's no way you're calling 3, 4, 5 against the dealer's 2-hand east call unless you got the nuts. And he had the nuts. So, I've been watching too much poker recently.
It's still doing it's back to doing the briefly loud thing.
Dave's moved on to his new fancy computer with all the green liquids.
It shouldn't be doing a briefly loud thing. I don't understand why the audio balance. I'm so mad about this. I can still look at it, but like.
I don't know. I mean, you're using that blue. So I moved on to this one.
Yeah, I'm using this blue thing.
I moved on to this one. Sorry, you're now going to get noise because I'm holding it, but yeah.
I'm getting a lot of noise because you're holding it. Yeah, there's no. I mean, for the record, there's no filter changing. There should be nothing. Oh wow! I guess the way I orient my head actually matters.
Yeah, maybe if you change make it so it can get the audio from wherever you.
Get the audio from where?
Do the switchy thing, because you probably got a monodirection at the moment, right? So make it omnidirection.
Oh.
So then you can move your head around a lot.
No, it's just at the cardioid. I don't know. I'm gonna try just moving it, and I'm gonna hope that works. And I'll do some recordings later. I'll just put it like here, which should help a little bit.
For some reason I'm moving in between my cameras.
But then it should be
after that.
Because I wonder if it's not something where there's like a gain or an auto gain or something, and it's like mucking around. I don't know. I'll fuss with it. I'll do some recordings later, and I'll just talk for an hour, and I'll see if this happens. Is it like every 5 minutes, 10 minutes? Give me some time component, because I don't understand why.
I mean, you could go back and listen to the stream yourself.
Oh yeah, I could totally do that.
Well, if someone sees it, can you clip it?
I think I had someone do that in the past, and
yeah, but if you do it, if you hear it again, like because now Dave's moved on to his new setup, probably if you fixed it before, he needs to hear it again. So if you hear it, clip it. That's
so strange.
Clip it, please. Thank you. Let's for once use Twitch's features, if you can call them that.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can recreate it, and then I'll see. I wonder if it has something to do with NDI or Skype or something. That might also be it. Like. But
it's okay on mine because you're not coming through Skype.
Well, I wonder if if I mute myself.
I'm hearing you fine, if that helps.
Oh, wait. What if I do that? And get rid of that? Because I'm wondering if it's Skype's like noise cancellation feature, or if Skype's somehow interacting with the mic. So I just turned off Skype noise cancellation.
I don't understand, because I hear you fine.
Yeah.
But you're taking the audio from Skype of yourself.
No. That's the thing. If you hear me fine, it's not happening for you.
Right. Okay.
The audio you hear comes through Skype. Well, the audio everyone else hears goes through OBS. Both applications are listening to my microphone. But if Skype is doing noise cancellation, it's doing some weird like adjustment or mucking with it or something, maybe that's impacting. So I just turned that off.
Oh, my days.
So that's one thing we just changed.
Like when you're on a Skype call and then you go into a Zoom call, and for some reason Skype has entirely changed the audio settings for reasons you don't understand.
Yeah, like I need to figure out a bunch of stuff. I need to migrate this whole thing to a proper board and do a bunch of stuff.
We want to get one of those like stream board things.
Yeah, well, I want to move all this into the studio is what I want to do. I want to move this old machine into the studio and make it a meeting. I have a lot of stuff. Let's talk about this later. But we're going to do a lot of things.
Anyway,
a lot of things are going to be happening.
We'll go back to the Mahjong.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mahjong for now. And then we'll deal with this later. Where's my Mahjong window?
I know, Chiel. I know.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I'm using Skype because Skype is the only app that lets you output the video stream so something else can pull it in. Like it's so crazy, but Skype is the only thing that lets you actually swoosh. Maybe there's a better plugin for something else by now, but it lets you swoosh the video over to another application. It's crazy.
Discord is pretty bad for audio.
Yeah, it's not good. So yeah, I think this 5-man. I feel like this 5-man throw was a bit of a push when you didn't necessarily need to push. And maybe this was the time to throw your safe south and hold on for a little bit and see what happens.
Wait, stop. South is not safe. Just
throw
the 5 bamboo. Just hard fold. Hard fold.
And now
5 bamboo. If you don't draw another safe, obviously safe tile, the 1 pin.
Now you're Gemma again. That's what's going on. Now you're back to hard fold. But in this situation, I don't think that's bad at all. I would not disagree.
I mean, Mr. Seven Dan, that call, I can't see Dora.
Yeah.
You know, I can see the churn. I can see what East is up to. East obviously doing what they should do, which is fast.
Yeah.
But what the hell is Mr. Seven Dan doing?
Yeah.
Dora.
Like this is
exactly what I said. No.
And from the Dave perspective, so to speak, like this is not a table for you to push. Everyone's already pushing. They've already committed to something. You're not going to be able to do anything to like change their mind. So presuming they're all just running forward, are you keeping up with them? And the answer is kind of no. And you're not in a situation where just charging forward is going to either convince anyone to slow down or like actually keep. If you were Tempai already, maybe.
No.
I wouldn't call it crazy to be like everyone's playing. I'm going to play too.
Your Tempai. If you if you find that you folded your Tempai, you're a very good Mahjong player.
Oh wow.
Don't fold your Tempai if you're Ricci though.
Definitely don't fold your Tempai.
I'll tell you a horrible tale. I folded my Ricci when I was Tempai. I folded my Tempai when I was Ricci in a league game at JPML. And for some reason, it was on camera. And then they put it up on the big screen and everyone laughed at me. And I almost cried.
Oh no!
I was just sitting there going like, I must take this as positive criticism, but I just wanted to die. I just wanted the ground to open me up and swallow me.
Oh no!
It's partly because they were like, part of the exercise was filming you so that you didn't lose your cool whilst you were being filmed. But of course, because I had like this panel of the best Mahjong players, some of the best Mahjong players in history were there watching the feed, and I was freaking out. And then I'd reached, and it was quite an early one, and then someone did something. I was like, oh my God, they've got like million draw or something. So I was like, I better fold, because of course Gemma wanted to fold. And I just pulled the towel out of my hand and I folded. And you know what? They didn't stop me because they didn't stop me because they were like, the exercise was recording you and seeing how you behave on camera. And I'm like, well, I think we got the message that I'm shit. Honestly,
to be fair, you know what? I'm gonna put different spin on that.
I'm gonna die right now.
That was the strongest fold you could ever have done. You folded while in reach, a stronger fold than any player has ever performed.
Yeah, they laughed at me.
That's
They laughed and
strongest
they were
fold in
like,
the world.
Gemma-san. Just laugh. They said Gemma-san.
Yeah, no
shook
one
their head and
else was
laughed.
willing. No one else had the guts to be like, you know what? I'm folding anyway.
And do you know what? To feed into Dave's truths about how I like to fold, they often accuse me having a weak heart, and this is probably because I just. Oh, well, here we are.
I hate this hand. I'm looking at this hand. I hate this hand. I hate
Yeah.
all. You know why I hate this hand? Because this hand has all these 1-2s and 8-9s, but then like the other side of that gaff just to be like, no, it's a stupid idea and you shouldn't do it. You should be discarding all these 1s and 9s like first thing.
Yeah.
Pardon me. And that's probably what we should be doing. Especially because that 4-man's a Dora. So probably what we should be cutting here are 1-man, 1-so, 9-pin, any one of those.
Reachy, the next discard, Reachy again, the new double Reachy.
Yeah, the new double Reach is Reach, and then also Reach again.
Just keep reaching, just keep upping the bet.
Yeah, you can up by 1 Han every time you reach. But that would actually be really interesting. You can up by 1 Han every time you reach.
I'm
but
laughing.
You deposit
like,
double. You deposit
exactly.
1,000, 2,000, 4,000, 8,000.
Exactly.
Oh, that'd be nuts.
See, that's XRC right there.
Yeah, that is actually, those are XRC rules. XRC is that, the player can up their reach anytime they want by discarding and then saying reach up. And then they put in another multiple.
No, it's Reach X. It's Reach X.
Reach X. Maybe they have to say extreme reach.
I want to see how it works. I'm good for that.
That would be real interesting, though, because what's kind of cool about that is it takes you multiple discards to, like, power it up.
Yeah.
So, like, you can't just right off the bat be like a 5x reach.
Yeah.
You actually have to spend time charging it. Yeah, you're charging your reach.
And, like, just imagine a marching song. You could even have a bar, right? And it'd be like, boom,
bar,
boom,
reach,
boom.
charge.
And then it'd get to the full, and it'd be like
maximum reach. Yeah, your hand's like vibrating. And
okay, Marshall Sol, if you're listening, that's our idea, and we want money for it.
Copyright me. I'm keeping it. Oh my god, I'll talk about this in a minute. We get a Chun, we throw Chun. Let's move forward through the game so we don't just totally. All right, throwing the 9, getting an 8-man. Throwing this 9.
Exactly.
Letting our Dragon Call go past. What do we think about that?
I mean, if you're going to fold this, do it. Just let it go. You're folding.
Yeah, this isn't a great hand. Like, this doesn't give me the feeling of it's going to be done soon. I don't feel strongly that we... Oh, and then we... Okay, so the Dragons have totally gone past, which means that we're probably just folding this, I think. Throw the South as it goes. We throw the 1. We got our 6, 7, 8 done. We have a pair. We throw this one. We're just cutting the things we can cut. Chun can go... We now have 4 pairs. So are we wiggling towards Chitoi? We have a reach from north. Chitoi would be a fine way, in my opinion, to, like, not quite let this hand die. Like, I have these 2 dragons, which are very safe.
Now you should fold. Well, I mean, you can fold the 7-man easily, but you should be...
So, okay, this is a fold. This is a fold right now against the reach. 7-man comes out.
Oh, yeah, we could do it on the auto table app. Shiraz got a good point. We could get the auto table app. We could do it on that.
The 9-pin comes out because it's safe now. All right, this is a fine fold. 4-so comes out because it's safe now. And then a sumo happens. All right, I mean...
Yeah, great.
We spun it up. It didn't work. We spun it down. We folded. And a beautiful...
but then, yeah.
East Chitoi sumo on the Dora.
Not to make you feel bad, Watashi, but... If you hadn't thrown into Sisan, they wouldn't have had this draw.
What?
He threw in on the previous.
Yeah, what do you mean they wouldn't have had this draw?
Well, they wouldn't have kept their dealership, and they wouldn't be on 13,000.
They wouldn't be getting 12,000. Yeah, they wouldn't be getting 13,000. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. This is a nice Chitoi. Like, this is good.
They've done great, but
The only thing I'd ask about this is, given that they were ready, were they ready from here? Let's find out.
Are they ready on the 6-man, right?
They were ready right here with the 4-man. They were ready. Yeah, they were ready at the point at which they threw the 6-man. But it's like, at this point, would you chase as dealer? They chose not to, but they were still throwing, like, They were still
I
throwing, so it's
personally
like
probably chase, but
I'd probably chase.
I guess the argument against that is if the person who's reached then throws a one man, people might try and throw the four into it because they really like Suji. I hope they don't
Maybe.
because they shouldn't do that.
Well, but they'd thrown the 7,
Maybe
so maybe they were thinking the 4 might end up
the
justified by
four
someone.
is the Dora.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't see it. So at the point at which I have a chi toy waiting on the Dora,
Yeah,
either the player in reach is going to throw it because they can't stop themselves,
especially on the 7 pin.
or I'm
I'd
drawing
I'd,
myself.
I'd swappy doppy.
Or you'd swappy. Oh yeah, they didn't swappy doppy.
I'd swappy
Um,
doppy on that seven
but this
pin.
this I would have reached because that would have put me over the top to Hanemon if I sumo it. And with a weight
Yeah.
on the Dora like this, there's like a 50% chance I sumo it. The other
Yeah.
chance is the reach player throws it. No other human at this table should be throwing the Dora.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Basically, a player going into reach is giving you another draw.
another draw, yeah. So it probably would have been worth reaching this. And that would have gotten into Hanemon, which would have been great for them. But either way, this is pretty great for them. And this pulls them up into into first place for the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I know you shouldn't, pull back through your history and blame yourself, but I do feel
It's
like
not blame. It's not blame. I feel like these are optimizations.
I think if the player that we're watching right now had not thrown in because they didn't need to throw that 5 man, I won't understand that 5 man, and then we wouldn't be in this situation now necessarily.
This is a Hong Kong dollar. Huh. Found a Hong Kong dollar.
We must go to Hong Kong then and
better
buy,
go back. Better spend it.
like I don't think any Hong Kong dollar will buy you anything.
Wow. Sorry, Hong Kong dollar. You look cool. You got a big 1 on it. It's like 1. It's a 2017 Hong Kong dollar.
I don't know what a Hong Kong dollar is worth. Let me look it up.
It's a good question.
It's been a long time since I've been to Hong Kong.
Same.
A long time.
The last time I was there was like 2019. It's been a long time.
I think the last time I was World Series of Mahjong, I think I went through Hong Kong. I think it's the last time I've been there.
This is another.
It's worth 13 cents.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't need that. This is another hand I kind of just don't like. There's nothing going on here. I guess the 3-4 is like the best thing going on in this hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll drain out our south. Throw this. I probably wouldn't have thrown this too. So I probably would have thrown the. Well, do I want to hold the east and west? Maybe I don't want to give people. This is a question. Do I want to give people stuff or do I not?
I'd clear the east out early.
I'd probably just clear the east out and be done with it. Oh, we got our 7, 8, 9 done. So now the east. That's a little bit of good luck that gives this hand some motion. 3 2 pins gives this hand. All right, we're getting some good draw. Like you got some wind in your sails, friend. 6 pin is not really where I would have gone here.
Well, I think they're keeping the west as an exit route now.
Yeah, but then I might have just thrown the 1 pin. Because I feel like there's still too much good that could happen. Like, just the 3 pin weight is a little ugly. The 6 pin has so many important things that can fit in with it.
True, but again, you're too many groups.
Yeah. Here's another east. Unfortunate, but whatever. Here's it's okay. We're now the wind has left our sails. 9 pin. 4 so that we keep over the west. To get this 4, 6, 6, 8 structure, which is an ugly structure.
This has become pretty ugly.
Yeah, now we have 4, 6, 8, and we held the other west, and now, by now, enough stuff has happened that a reach occurs. The 5 pin is at least very safe to throw if we want to, so we do. The west is actually very safe to throw. I might have thrown the
west is safe, and I think the 1 pin is pretty safe.
4, 5, 6, and this is a risk. We throw the 8. So we are like Ishan 10, but it's still like, unless we get that 3 pin, this is not a great Ishan 10.
Oh, no, sorry. If you get the 2 or the 5, then you're waiting on the 1 pin or the 3 pin.
Yeah, you get the 1 pin, 3 pin weight, which isn't so bad.
That's a great weight. But what, you're going to reach into this? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's like, this all seems... Hold on. Just to not miss... Oh, no, the door came out from the player in reach. And so next time around, the door comes out from our 7 den because it is safe on the reach. Okay, I'm like, they're not crazy. And they're not, like, obviously Tempai, although throwing a door might still mean something. Here's an 8. The west comes out. Throw the 8. The 5 came out. The 8's relatively rational. And we do now have another way to Tempai.
Mm-hmm.
With a 3 or a 6, so. Now we get the 2. and we cut the 1 pin,
Mm-hmm.
which with the 4 pins out is pretty reasonable, and the 2 pins are all in our hand, so it's doubly pretty reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
So we're tempi on 3/6 so, but we're not reaching, which implies we're probably going for just ready at end of hand.
Yeah.
Opponent gets called. 8 so's come out. West, yeah. So tempi, cool. In this case, it's not that amazing. It pulls 3,000 points away from our leader, which is good. It keeps us up with everyone, which is good. But we made it. And now we're in East 4th, and we're really behind. West is the Dora. There's another hand that
We're
does
not
not
really behind. I don't agree with that.
I mean,
Your
what's the
one
difference?
good hand direct hit
19k
away.
is bigger than Mongon. I'm gonna call that really behind.
Okay.
I don't know. We got 8s are coming up. We got 4, 4, 5, 8. Man,
You've got a dealership. You've got a dealership.
yeah, we got a dealership ahead. We got time. And this is we're trimming off these man tiles 2 and 8. I'm a little confused at what we're doing here because I feel like we're just sort of shuffling tiles around.
I'm not really sure why you keep the 9 pin.
Yeah, like
there,
this
or the
9
1
pin
pin
could go. We got a second hot, so now we've chucked the 4 so's entirely. Are we just pushing a flush? It almost looks like we're just way too hard pushing a flush. The 9 pin goes when we have 7, 8.
We're really hard cheatoy push.
Maybe. 9 man, we throw. Shun and we throw the south. Is this our time for big 3 dragons? But now a reach, and now we're a little stuck. Throw the 1 pin to be safe, so now we just fold. We're throwing the 1 pin to be safe. I mean, maybe this was a fold. Maybe this was, I'm just going to throw the most dangerous tiles I have and hold on to things that I'm going to fold.
Why throw the 4 over the 5s? I don't know.
We throw the 1 pin, we throw the 4 pin. Pardon me. Throw the 1 man. It's pretty safe because of Suji there. Throw the 2 pin is not at all safe. Well, no, that's not true. We can see all 4. We have Kabe on the 4 pin. So the 2 pin is and Kabe on the 1 pin. So the 2 pin's actually very safe. Yeah, stop discarding Koshi. We get our 3rd hots, which makes us real proud. Another 9 man. This is just we're just running away. Another 9 man. We say we're running away.
I mean,
we're
now
actually
you've got the Dora here, though.
Yeah. Well, we just threw the Dora because the Dora just came out. The Dora came out from the player in reach, and the other 2 are dead. The Dora's dead.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, and now it's like we're still wiggling towards this. We're now wiggling towards a so flush. Well, 7 pin's also very safe.
You're not gonna make it. You haven't got enough draws to make it.
We throw no, we're still folding. We're still folding. This was actually a reasonable thing of like I'm gonna throw a safe tile that still kind of wiggles me towards something that could ever happen, but it was a hard safe tile on everyone, so I'm not gonna call that. Oh my god! And this is the moment that they make a good decision, in my opinion. Instead of letting that flush potential kind of blind them and push them in a direction that's unsafe by throwing the 6s, they just say no. It's still not happening. I'm sorry.
But it's the last draw.
Yeah, it's the last. Oh, they're not tempi anyway, so it doesn't even matter. They have no hope. It's a 3 so only weight. And this gets Desan 3,000 points, which brings them real close to you. You know, they're really about to overtake you, and everyone else kind of sinks.
We still got a dealership.
But you should always be aware of how these things are going to pan out. You know what's going to happen when you end the hand not ready. That's 3,000 points. 3,000 points is bigger than a lot of hands people play. Why do I have a thingy here? Oh. That's what's going on. Okay. All right. So this hand, what do we see? 3 so meme weight.
I know. Yeah.
We got 3, 4. We got 6, 7. Me. We got a Dora. And so we throw the 1 pin because our 3, 4 is better, and we have our Dora. Okay. We got a 6. I would almost, that's fair. We keep our 2, 4 shape, and by not throwing the 9, we keep the 6, 7, and the 7, 9 shape, so we're maximizing shape. But we still have that too many shapes problem that you've discussed, where it's like we have a lot of shapes. So what do we want to do with them all?
I'd almost be keen to throw the 6 boundary there.
Yeah, well, now's the time. So we got our 6, 7, 8 locked in. 6, 7, 8 Sanshoku is possible here. We ditched the 9-pin. 3 7s is really interesting, and I think throwing the 9-man is right, because this leaves us Ishan 10. With a 3-man or a 2-5 pin, we get Tenhou Dora 1. I become... Whoa. Oh! Hold on.
Yeah, do you know,
I'll be right back.
How are you going to throw the Dora? I'm going to eat some more popcorn whilst Dave's getting ready. This popcorn's been sitting in front of me, looking really delicious. It's really delicious.
Alright, that should help.
I really love popcorn.
Amount, because I think the answer might actually be my air conditioner.
Oh,
so my air conditioner turns on. You can't hear it on the stream, but I think it ends up adjusting. Something ends up like automatically adjusting the gain settings or doing something with the microphone. Yeah. And I think that ends up being the problem.
Americans in the air conditioning.
Wait, all right. Well, actually, I just realized it takes a couple minutes for everything to come out. So I'm hoping that I'm not too loud.
There are a lot of restrictions on the table. Yeah.
There's 3,200 points on the table. Is it worth rushing the Tenhou? I sure would. Because, yeah, that's now 4,200 points.
What are you going to do with the 5-man? What are you going to do with the 5-man? You're going to throw the 2-man? I think you can throw the 2-man. I think you're in a really ugly situation.
The dealer calls north. I don't like that. Oh, God. West calls west, so now we don't even get to play. Our 5-pin comes out. Everyone throws. Now I have the 5-man. So what do I do here? Do I throw the Dora?
I know exactly what you do. What do you do?
I might just Dora reach.
No. I would throw the 7-man and then hope that I get the 3-man.
I don't know.
I can still call it. If I see the 3-man, I see the 2-pin, I see the 5-pin, I can call it.
I don't know.
If I get the 2-man, even happier. I couldn't do it.
I'd for sure Dora reach.
No, I would for sure not.
I'd push it. 2 people have called. They're open.
I'd be making. Because I know what happened. I'm gonna draw the 2-man.
Oh, they do it. They do it. They Dora reach.
No, I don't like it.
And they get away with it. I see your point. Oh, and they get the 8. That actually wouldn't help their structure, though. And the dealer calls White Dragon. So now the dealer's got 2 calls on the table. Real dangerous. They got the 3rd 7, which would have made you happy.
I wouldn't, because I'd have thrown the 7.
A great thing happens. A player directly above them deals into them with a 2-pin. And they flip a Dora. And this becomes reach Tenhou Dora for 5,200. Plus what's on the table gets them 9,400, which gets them into 2nd place.
You see, maybe I forgot that these has 2 different points sitting on the table. So maybe I'm wrong.
Like Dr. Balan mentioned.
But you could have damned it. You didn't have to actually... I guess you can't damn it if you're not Tenpai.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like by going for it, I locked in the 2-Han hand for 2 and 40 for 2,600, plus the 3,200 on the table, which becomes 5,800, which brings me either really close to 2nd, or if I hit them directly...
Okay, I'm wrong.
Doesn't quite overtake them.
I'm wrong.
For only 26.
Yeah, I'm
getting
wrong.
The flip to 52, which is luck, but getting the flip to 52 is what really pushes it over the top.
Okay, Dave, you've been wrong a lot this week, but this time.
Yeah, I was gonna say some things I'm wrong about. This one I think I got. And now what do we got? We got well, it's South round, so these Souths are actually good. Hooray, these Souths are great. We got a 4 or 5. We can cut a 7. We have a bunch of so tiles. We don't have the door. We have everything around the door. We can take it in. We throw the Chun first, which is fine. We give up on a Chun Dream. We got another 6, which is kind of cool. So we got a pair here. We throw the East. So I think right now the logic I'd be thinking is we're going to call this South and run away and just like make a quick hand South door 1 and keep our dealership and keep going. Just keep climbing slowly but surely. We do call the South. We throw that 7. Yep, we are heading straight to where we want to be, Town. As we look to hope to get anything. We got Our high-ranked player calls the hots. Interesting. I guess this makes sense.
Yeah, it's back to
because
being
now we can
able to call.
pong things over chi things. Except
I
we
mean,
immediately
although the theory would say that you throw the 3 bamboo and then the 1 bamboo.
draw the 2,
Yeah.
which is disappointing. And I think it's actually not ideal to have called to throw the 8 here.
You
I
should have
think
thrown
we're
the 8
actually
before.
well. I think if we're gonna keep the 6, 7, 8 on, well, I guess 5, 6, 7 can still be called, so maybe it's fine.
Wait. I mean, sorry. Wait. Go back to me through the 1 bamboo. You should have thrown the 8 there. There was an efficiency error.
Because you can pong the 6, 1, 3, 5.
Because by throwing the 1, 3 group, you're losing the 2.
Yeah, by throwing the 8, you can still take the 7.
You can still take the 7. So that was an efficiency error when you threw the 1 bamboo.
Efficiency error there.
Yeah.
8 comes out. Hatsa comes out. We call the 5, 6, 7, but this leaves us potentially footy 10, which is not ideal. Yeah, now we're footy 10. We're footy 10 on the 1, 4, which is a bad place to be. And how bit do we get by this? We just sit and wait and hope.
On your dealership as well.
Yeah, this is just not awesome.
I guess I threw the 1 bamboo first, then 3, because I thought they could use the 4 bamboo still. But
apparently we are lucky, and we just draw the Dora. And by drawing the Dora, we sumo for East Dora, 1,000 all, 3,000 points, please. And all right, we continue our climb. We're up at 34K. We're making it. We're only 6K away from first place. East is the Dora now. This is a pretty solid starting hand here. With a lot of chance at 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku.
Yeah, this is much nicer.
This is a great hand. So let's throw that hots. Our 7-down player immediately calls the hots. They also probably just want this to end. Our deal, that is, not the game, but they probably want our deal to end. They don't want us to keep playing this game and climbing and sumoing and pulling them further away. We get a 5, 6, throw the 8. Cool. They call that. We have 3, 4, 5, 6. We throw the 1 man, which makes sense. We're Ishan 10 now. A little bit of a strange Ishan 10.
Right, but you can still call yourself into Open Tanya.
Yeah, and our player left is aggressively showing either, well, it could be a flush, it could be a Chanta, it could just be hots, who knows?
But we could also have Dora.
Yeah, it could have Dora and still be any one of those things. So this is a danger zone. 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6. We throw the 1, so now we're really close to Tenhou Town, and there's a lot of tiles we can grab that'll get us ready.
Yeah. But you don't want to throw those man. That's the problem.
Oh, God. Okay, so we throw 3, 4, 5 Sanshoku just creeping on in there.
I just don't know how you throw a man tile into this.
Yeah. So this is an interesting situation. Because now we can get Tempai without having to throw a man tile.
You take the Tempai and you reach it.
Yep, that's exactly what happens, which makes me real sad. It's real painful to give up.
No, but I
don't know if I would have reached this.
I mean, I definitely would have reached it only because of this flush that's going on here.
Interesting. Well, let's see what happens. We get a call. So it's not a flush. The final call gets made.
All right.
It's just a sick flush bluff. And now we have a reach versus
they
a
must be waiting.
Weight.
They must be waiting on a Dora, right?
It's gotta be. And we play this out. Oy, how stressful.
It's gotta be a Dora. I don't see how they're not waiting on a Dora.
Well, we'll definitely see at the end.
I'm like...
Well, here's a 7-man that would have made their life better. Yeah, like that's the thing. Yeah, it was a Dora.
If I wasn't the dealer, Bionel, I wouldn't have reached. Because I'm the dealer, I want control of the table. You know, I want people to think I'm fighting. It was the Dora, was it? Yeah. And I'm okay if the battle is just between me and the 7 Dan. I want to take the other players out of the equation.
It's true. If I'm one of those other two players and there's a dealer reach and a shown flush like that, I'm kind of just like, all right, this is not
and
my time.
there's no evident door. However, if I wasn't the dealer, I wouldn't reach it.
No, it's a pretty weak challenge if you're not the dealer.
It's weak, but you got to remember, you get more points for dealer, so that reach is already worth more.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If I wasn't the dealer, this is a weak challenge. Yeah. But as the dealer, it carries a lot more weight.
It does.
All right, so we go to Tenpai no Ten, which again is kind of fine for us where we are, right? The player in last moves up a little bit. We move up a little bit.
That is a ballsy weight on just the.
It is a ballsy weight, but it's what they need to some degree. I think they came to a conclusion of it's hot store door 3 Han, 3 and what, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Now 8, 3 and 30. So that's points they need it, and it would have gotten them into third place. So here we are again, 4,800 points away from first. We got a Dora, we got a 1 2 3, we got a pair, we got some sequences. This is not bad at all, and our dealership continues.
Yeah.
So where do we go?
We
throw the east because the east came out. We keep that 9. We got 5 6 7, maybe in the man tiles. We throw the. I might have.
I don't really know. I don't know what this 3 pin is doing. I don't like this.
If you have to have a single dangling tile, I think a 3 is better than an 8, but a 3 would be equal to a 7.
Oh, but I can already see one of the 2s and one of the 1s.
Yeah, that's true. You get this 9. Now we trim the 3.
This is just ugly. I don't know. Like, you're going to end up, either waiting on the 2 or the 9, or you're going to be waiting for an inside weight.
We cut the 7. We're now Ishan 10.
That's interesting.
We're now Tenpai. But it's not a great Tenpai.
Gotta reach it.
Apparently we Dama this on the 7, hoping for some kind of upgrade or benefit.
I know. Upgrades are difficult on this one.
Yeah, I don't think there's an obvious upgrade.
Because you can already see one of the 9 bamboos. Obviously, you got 3 at the 2-man.
Yeah, no, the other 2 9 bamboos are done. You're never getting another.
You draw the 6-man, obviously, then you're fully down.
Yeah, and in waiting, our south player declares reach.
Yeah, right, and then you've given them a bit of space to do a bit of...
we don't follow.
Maneuvers.
And we fold instead.
No,
throw the 3.
I think once you've not reached, someone puts a reach down and you got this hand, foldings are a really strong play. So whereas I might not have agreed with their actions before, now we're in this situation, I think the folds are really good.
I'm a little surprised. I'm just a little surprised that this 8 and 3 cut is a little confusing to me. You're right. I probably would have flattened the 3 and held the 8. And then
it's when this is where I become very confused, because I
don't think I would have held the 9s as a pair.
I wouldn't have thrown the 7. They throw the 7 right here.
No, they throw the 3.
Oh, they throw the 3. Oh, okay. But at some point they throw the 7, and I'm like, I'm not sure.
They throw the 7 when they get the 3 in here with 2 2 3.
Yeah, I guess.
And I guess they cut this down. This becomes the pair.
See, I think I'd throw the 2-man. I gotta be honest. Or I'd throw the 7-man actually. Yeah. Because if you get the 8 bamboo.
Yeah, like getting the 8 bamboo and extending is a really valuable thing that I wouldn't want to miss out on.
Or you get the 3 bamboo and you push it that way. Or you get another 4 bamboo, and then you've got 2 door and a 5 6 7. I think the 7-man had to go back there, not the 7 bamboo.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think that was a structural problem. Yeah, and then they got in this weird place where they couldn't really have a winning hand, but they were just sitting there ready.
I think it's really smart and strong to have folded.
Yeah. Being able to come out of that and not say like, oh, I bet I can still juice something out of this. I bet just being able to say no, we're folding. This is done. Yeah. Sorry. Like I think that's really strong. So we're in South 2. There's a lot to this game. And we are almost at our time. So do we want to jump to the last hand?
Yeah, let's jump to the last hand.
This is a meaty game. So let's see, where do we come in the last hand? So we are at... Ooh, it is real close. Unfortunately, our 7-Dan player is a bit behind, but not so far behind that like a Haneman Sumo wouldn't get them into first place, because a Haneman Sumo would get them into first place. Even a Mankan Sumo, a Steeler, would get them into third place. But we are real close to winning. This is a pretty good start. We got 2 3 4 5 7 7. We got 2 3 3 4. We got a Dora. We
With
are
these point differentials, this is the kind of starter I want to see.
yeah. So the Chun gets called
Oh,
immediately by our player in first.
okay, okay,
The
okay.
Tuso gets called
Tucson.
immediately by our player in first. All right, so by the time we even
Oh,
get a draw, they're 2 calls in. All right, but all they have to do is win. All they have to do is win anything. And we
is
get
it
an
really
East.
anything? It's not anything.
Yeah, this is player in first. Player cross is leading.
Oh, sorry, you mean them? I thought we were talking about the player we're
No, the
watching.
player
Okay,
cross
yeah, no,
just has
sorry,
to win anything.
sorry.
So they're off to
It's
the
true.
races. Any hand they
Of
win,
course,
it's
of
over.
course. They've caught the red dragon, so we're happy.
We need at least what, a 2-Han sumo or a 3-Han roan will do it for us.
Or direct hit.
Yeah, or a smaller. I think a 1-Han direct hit even. No.
No.
Yes. Oh, no, it still has to be a 2-Han direct hit.
It depends on your foo, right?
Yeah. It's 2-Han off the player across, 3-Han off anyone else, 2-Han sumo.
Yeah.
Those things will get us over the top. We have Tenhou Dora as our like standout with this hand, so we have it. Like we're not like far away from it, but can we get the hand ready? That's the question.
Yeah.
And it looks like we're playing a bit nervous. Instead of throwing the south, I guess we hold the south because south is double south.
Instead of throwing the 3 bamboo, because there's a cupboard, there's a wall on those 2 bamboos.
Oh, that's true. So I'm never going to be getting the other side of that anyway.
Yeah. So just throw away your Ipeco dreams, because if you get the 4, you're still not in a happy place because it's effectively an edge weight.
Yeah.
So I throw the 3 bamboo because of course, if you get another south, of course, happy days.
Oh, jeez. And now a dealer reach. We thought this would be easy. And now what do we do?
You have to play. I still throw the 3 bamboo. You've got to progress your hand.
We throw the south.
It is effectively an edge tile here.
We throw the hots. We throw our 7 again, and the second time we throw the 7, our player across was ready by that point. Is that... Wow, yeah, they must have gotten ready right there. And then by this time, we throw the 7 and deal in to an edge weight to Chundora 1, which does not take us down into 3rd place, barely.
Yeah.
But we're locked in 2nd. We lost it.
Yeah.
I don't know what more we could have done with these discards. I guess we could have held those 7s as a pair. We could have kept these 7s in our hand.
Yeah, I feel the 3 bamboo have got... I think if you'd thrown the 3 bamboo, the hand would have taken a totally different direction.
But at the same time, I could also see discarding the 7s to be safe on the reach at a later point, even if we held them as a pair. I could totally see.
Okay, but like, I mean, with those calls, you've got to assume they're tempo.
Yeah. No, this was just rough. This is a rough.
I mean,
end.
it's tough. It's a tough one to fold out. It's a tough one to fold out. You could have considered the 2-man. Maybe. I guess you could throw the 2 bamboo. It may have ended up in the exact, it's sort of finagled around, but it would have ended up in the same situation.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, for all that was
I enjoyed
painful,
watching that game.
Yeah, we didn't do anything too terrible, and we were able to stay in 2nd place anyway. Yeah, that was a really interesting game. A lot of interesting play going on. Good moves, smart moves, interesting folds, good thoughts. Really great to watch.
Yeah, it was. I said it was immediate. But I'm always impressed by the Armor games. They are thinkers.
Yeah. No, I think Armel has shown that people participating in a league structure like this do gain. Like they learn a lot, they gain a lot, they grow a lot, and I think there's a lot of great players.
Do you think you've seen that progression in players who are playing on Armel?
I feel like that's true based on the names I've seen go by. I also just feel like fundamentally playing more is good for you. And playing more in a situation where you're trying to win competitively is good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, and because I think people get stuck into playing the ladder, right? They're used to playing the Mahjong Soul ladder, the Tenhou ladder, whatever, Weechi City nowadays. I always
feel like ladder play can get very rote.
Yeah.
Because and it's almost because you don't play with the same people very often. Like playing in an environment where you get to meet the same people more than once means that you start to... It's in your best interest to get to know people a little bit. It's in your best interest to think about like how they're going to play or what they're going to do, what their styles are, and you're going to see these styles the same way. You're not going to see this weird melange of like 500,000 free-to-play players who just like jumped in and they're punching tiles. Like and just doing whatever. And so you learn, I feel like in those environments, a very like self-centered rote style where it's like, this is how I play my hand out. This is kind of the maximum I can do. And by doing this, I can hopefully get above people who don't do it that way.
Yeah.
That's an opinion. Not quite a hot
I like
take. It's an opinion.
I like the opinion. Well, kiddos, it's been a week.
Yeah, it has for sure been a week. Thank you for joining us for some fun in Mahjong. Thank you for checking out our minorly updated stream.
If you are a North American or I guess primarily United States player, then you should join the NAMA Discord and take part in setting the new direction of travel.
Yes, we want people interested and engaged. We want to hear from the community. We want to be in touch with the community. Like that's what we want to do. And the pandemic was a big gap in time, but now
the problem is DeSantis makes me not want to hear from your communities.
That's unfair. I don't think
I shouldn't tar all Americans with the same brush.
You really shouldn't. I feel like I would be very hard pressed to find a member of the North American community that was pro DeSantis.
That's interesting. Do you know what? You want to talk about hot takes? I was on Blue Sky because I'm trying to move away from Twitter. Not give Twitter my eyeballs. They said, why are all the annoying libs into Mahjong? And I was like, most of Mahjong players are annoying libs, like me.
Jeez.
But it's just one of those interesting things, right?
Yeah, I'd rather be surrounded by quote unquote annoying libs than people who are Republican. So
I will not make that comment. I cannot make that comment.
You don't have as stark a divide, I don't think. Like I think.
Do you know? But I think I will say that most conservatives here would not vote Tory either, because
that's the thing. Like
those people are crazy.
Like this has always been my thing. Like some people might have opinions about taxes that I don't share, and some people, might have certain, that's fine. There's a range of opinions that I don't share that doesn't make you a terrible person I wouldn't hang out with. But I don't know how you can be a United States Republican. I don't know how you can do that.
Do you know what's interesting? Because I have some family in Texas and they're all Republican voters. Well, they were before the previous president. And that was interesting to me because, they were real, I would have said dyed in red, like real Republicans. They believed in all of the things. And then that happened. And I spoke to one of them and they said, I don't recognize this anymore. These aren't the values
that
we signed up for. And that means that I guess they're politically homeless now, right? Because,
that's what
we can have these conversations, but, I don't inherently think that conservatism is all wrong.
Well, again, there are some issues. There are some issues on which there's very much room for a robust debate between approaches as to how to handle them. And there's going to be two sides, and each side's going to think they're very right.
Tax is a great one to pick up, right?
Yeah.
Like, how do we handle taxes? Because there's a lot, and also that dial moves depending on the context, right? Depending on what's happening at the time, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so there's again, I think there is room for different opinions, and I think there's room for people that I think, and I've always said this, like I think there's a difference between someone that I disagree with and think is wrong. Like there are fellow Americans that I think are wrong, that I disagree with strongly. I think their views are incorrect and maybe harmful to others, but they can be my fellow Americans.
Yeah.
But like people like this, in my opinion, I'm so tired of being told by people that they're not the real Americans. I'm so tired of being told I'm not a real American.
I'm sorry. I think I've said that to you before.
No, you haven't. You haven't. No, you might have, but it's different. It's different when you say it. But like, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. Like people who just don't believe even in the fundamental rule of law or the fundamental principles of of stuff as a nation. Like anyway, I don't want to get too deep into it, but like anyway, I would be surprised if there were too many people in the Mahjong community who were died in who were super red current Republicans, and I wouldn't really want to engage with them because I don't think people like that are good people. We can be not real Americans together. Fake Americans forever.
Just throw tea in the water. That's how I've learned you become an American.
Yeah, it's madness. It's madness. At this point, I feel like the only people hanging on to it are just, there's some percentage of them that are actually hateful, and I think there's a large percentage of them that are just straight up delusional and prefer believing that there's this like magical world of conspiracy trying to oppress them and destroy Christianity and take away their ability to say Merry Christmas and all this. I don't know.
They do realize that Christianity came from not America, right?
No.
Okay.
No. Because American Christianity is not something you would recognize
that's where
anymore.
I've got a little respect for some of the religions that are like, some of the versions of Christianity are like, actually, Jesus came here. He was here. Have
Oh,
you ever
that's
heard
Mormonism.
about?
That's Mormonism.
No, but you do realize that there's a whole sect of Christianity in Japan who believe that Jesus got resurrected and then moved to Japan. And they've got descendants of Jesus. He went there and started a family. Like,
that's interesting.
I'm well up for this white guy. Well, he's not a white guy story, but
he's not a white guy.
He's not a white guy.
That's what the Church of Latter-day Saints believes. If I recall properly, they have a whole book of.
Curiously, the Japanese, when they depict the Jesus who came to them, he's white.
That's super weird. No, if I'm recalling correctly, the Book of Mormon is all about Jesus comes to North America and hangs out with the Native Americans and gives them all kinds of additional teachings. And that's like, if I'm recalling properly, that's something that is believed by the Church of Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Again, we've got a big Mormon church here. Those people are typically lovely. I just get very confused when they had the plates with the word of God and then they lost them.
Brigham Young had a lot of exciting adventures in his life.
I feel like I'd probably not lose them. I would say that maybe the angel took them back. If I was going to go that way, I'd be like, oh my God, an angel must have taken them. I wouldn't be like, oh shit, I lost them.
They have like a built-in excuse. Honest. If God was like, look, the last time I gave you tablets, the guy I gave them to, like, he smashed them and then we had to do it again. So like, let me just hold on to these so you don't mess this up again.
I'll hold them up.
Yeah, I'll just keep them over here. You just copy these, but I am not. These ones are gold, okay? Those were stone. These are gold. You know how much anything costs? Like,
it's cost of living here, guys.
Yeah, seriously, guys. So we can't afford more of your human shenanigans with these, please.
Do you know, I really respect, the Book of Mormon musical. It's really funny. But I do respect at least the Mormon Church in the UK when that musical came to the UK. They took out adverts on the back, like, you've seen the musical, now read the book.
Now read the book.
And I was like, that is the way to harness this energy. Well done, you guys.
Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, I'll say the individual people that I've met having to do with the Mormon Church have all been nice people who seem to want to do good for others in the world. Like, I don't have anything negative to say about the at least I have a little bit of a weird thing to say about the Mormon Church baptizing people without their permission. A little weird.
Yeah, that was a big deal. Yeah, no, because I know the Jewish communities aggressively started removing their information so that
I'd be like, please don't do that because you can't.
Oh no, it's
yoink people into your religion like that.
It's been a big debate because I'm really interested in kind of that genealogy stuff, but it's been a huge debate because they pump a huge amount of money, but
not good enough for him. It's not for me.
Lots of people have shown some disquiet about the motivations for doing it. Other people are like, well, if I don't believe it, does it really matter?
Yeah, it's I think it's an awkward thing.
I don't know. Anyways, yeah. Hey ho. We've touched on all the naughty subjects.
Everything today. It's been great.
Next week it's going to be very clean. We can talk about other times that I wanted to die in League games.
That's true. And next week I might have an exciting and non-controversial announcement to make, hopefully.
Oh, I hope so, Dave, because I'm tired of controversy.
Hopefully the announcement is ready. I'm pretty sure it will be non-controversial, but it will also be exciting.
Make a graphic this time.
I will. It'll be so graphic. It'll get us kicked off Twitch. It'll be the most graphic that anyone has ever seen. It's gross. Anyways, thank you all for watching.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
See you guys later. Bye for now.